they dress to expose the body. Oríṣiríṣi. Combination, colors versus colors.
They riot.
Rioting, green for top.
Purple for under.
Oh, Paris, you go die in here.
Na yellow.
Hey, mascara for face.
Na red.
Shine, shine, eye pencil.
Na blue.
Ìgbẹ́ ìpẹ́jú rẹ̀. Etiquette. Lipstick ńkọ́.
Na golden.
Ó tán. Ìwé spandex. Tọ́ntìrín leggings. Ó wọ spandex. Ó wọ leggings. He put jacket for tall. Cap dey face the back. He waka for road o. He wan cause accident.
Side by side. Side by side. Side by side. Side by side. Side by side.
Don't let it pátápátá.
Side by side.
Láti ná kọ́bá ọmọ yẹn àgé ni o.
Side by side.
Ọmọ yẹn ti rìn ìwọ̀n ọjà ìdánwò
Side by side. 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 Side by side.
Look at the way. The ladies of nowadays see them to dress you. It be like you say, they won't cause the accident. Before, woman they dress to cover body. But now, woman they dress to kill the person. I want baby, yeah.
Don't wash up.
Different clothes.
Different occasion.
If na party,
A complete
hey, kele you rock back.
combination.
If na walk,
A complete
oh Paris, sketchy blouse, back and shoe.
combination.
If na play,
My one
oh tonu, excuse me.
to explosive body
If you meet the mommy,
and daughter.
you no go know.
Who be mommy?
You go think it did too.
Na sister.
Them go the waka.
Like it pepe, yeah.
Ha, lefu rete,
Rete lefu.
lefu rete,
Rete lefu.
lefu rete.
Rete lefu.
Oh. So when chief bamo, carry picking when they drive for road to concentrate in our wahala. I want baby they don't cause it kata. Man must be put to one handy for him pocket yo because prevention is better than cure. Ìwé blouse is litty mini, rich waist, mini tight, blouse tight, nothing for under. Mo fẹ́ pa àwọn boys mi.
Side by side.
Andoro.
Side by side. side.
Back where for the side.
Side by side.
Wetin you carry?
Side by side.
Aya, open your bonnet.
Side by side.
Where the particular?
Side by side.
Hands up, general search.
Side by side.
Wetin be this? Wetin be this? Wetin be?
Side by side.
Ash you, contraband.
Side by side.
Illegal possession of dangerous weapon. You and madam under arrest.
Side by side.
Capital offense, capital punishment.
Side by side.
Madam, dangerous dressing causing breach of
Side by
peace.
side.
Oga, rough parking causing obstruction. Pandoro,
Side by side.
Pandoro.
Side by side.
Ó wọ ṣòkòtò, ó wọ bùbá, ó wọ ṣòkòtò, ó wọ bùbá. Ó ní kí n ká lọ, mo lé mi ò lọ. Ó ní kí ló dé, mo lé mi ò mọ̀.
Merciful God. Merciful God. Ọba tó ṣoore fún mi ṣoore fún ẹ tó ṣoore lójoojúmọ́. Ọba kọ má ti kà lẹ́yìn. Àdúrà gbọ̀ngbọ̀n lẹ́yìn aṣòwòtọ́. Kò jẹ́ ronú ibi rárá. Merciful God. Àwa máa rí bí ọba Elédùmarè. Ó dáàbò bò mí táyà tọmọ tẹbí tará. Ó dáàbò bò mí táyà tọmọ tẹbí tará. Ìgbòkègbodò mi kò jẹ́ kó já sórí asán. Ìgbòkègbodò mi kò jẹ́ kó já sórí asán. Òun yan fáńdá lójú ra gbẹ̀gàn. Bí ọ̀pọ̀lọ́ ṣe ń yan lójú ra ẹlẹ́gùsí. Ẹlẹ́gùsí ò gbọ́dọ̀ rí láta. The merciful God. Àwa máa rí bí ọba Elédùmarè. Ó dáàbò bò mí táyà tọmọ tẹbí tará. Ó dáàbò bò mí táyà tọmọ tẹbí tará. Ìgbòkègbodò mi kò jẹ́ kó já sórí asán. Ìgbòkègbodò mi kò jẹ́ kó já sórí asán. Òun yan fáńdá lójú apẹ̀gàn. Bí ọ̀pọ̀lọ́ ṣe ń yan lójú ẹlẹ́gùsí. Ẹlẹ́gùsí ò gbọ́dọ̀ yí láta. The merciful God.
Àfijóyin bàbá.
Àfijóyin bàbá ògo.
Àfijóyin bàbá.
Àfijóyin ọba ògo. bèbí gbéra sókè kájọ sọ di kẹ̀kẹ́. Ìlú sàn ní adé kò ṣe fi sára kú, ẹ jẹ́ ká sọ di kẹ̀kẹ́. Ẹ jọ ìjọyà.
àìmọ̀síkò ló ń dààmú ẹ̀dá o. Ọ̀rọ̀ mi lọ́wọ́ Olúwa ló wà.
àìmọ̀síkò ló ń dààmú ẹ̀dá o. ọ̀rọ̀ mi lọ́wọ́ Olúwa ló wà. Merciful God. Merciful God. Ọba tó ṣoore fún mi ṣoore fún ẹ tó ṣoore lójoojúmọ́. Ọba kọ má ti kà lẹ́yìn. Àdúrà gbọ̀ngbọ̀n lẹ́yìn aṣòwòtọ́. Kò jẹ́ ronú ibi rárá. Merciful God. Ọba Elédùmarè ó dáàbò bò mí táyà tọmọ tẹbí tará ó dáàbò bò mí táyà tọmọ tẹbí tará ìgbòkègbodò mi kò jẹ́ kó já sórí asán ìgbòkègbodò mi kò jẹ́ kó já sórí asán òun yan fáńdá fáńdá lójú ra pẹ̀gàn bí ọ̀pọ̀lọ́ ṣe ń yan lójú ra ẹlẹ́gùsí ẹlẹ́gùsí ò gbọ́dọ̀ rí látà the merciful God. Ìgbòkègbodò mi kò jẹ́ kó já sórí asán ìgbòkègbodò mi kò jẹ́ kó já sórí asán òun yan fáńdá fáńdá lójú apẹ̀gàn bí ọ̀pọ̀lọ́ ṣe ń yan lójú ẹlẹ́gùsí ẹlẹ́gùsí ò gbọ́dọ̀ yí látà the merciful God.
Máa fi jóyin bàbá.
Máa fi jóyin ọba ògo.
Máa fi jóyin bàbá.
Máa fi jóyin ọba ògo.
Máa fọ yàyà yóò ní bú ọrẹ.
Máa fọ yàyà yín ọba ògo.
Máa fọ yàyà yóò ní bú ọrẹ.
Máa fọ yàyà yín ọba ògo. Bàbá tẹ́wọ́ yẹn lẹ́dùnmarè ọba mímọ́.
Ẹ̀bá ń ra bàbá bọ́ bá ògo jàre.
Ọba tẹ́rẹ̀ rẹ̀ kárí ayé.
Ẹ̀bá ń ra bàbá bọ́ bá ògo wa.
Ọba tẹ́rẹ̀ rẹ̀ kárí ayé.
Èlí aláwọ̀.
Elila, Elialahu, Elila,
Èlí aláwọ̀.
Elila, Elialahu, Elila,
Èlí aláwọ̀.
Elila, Elialahu, Elila.
Yes, sir. Èdùmàrè ló ń fún wa ṣe. Ọba òkè ló ń fún wa ṣe. Èdùmàrè ló fún wa ṣe. Ọba òkè ló fún wa ṣe. Torí bẹ́ẹ̀, ọmọdé ìlú ijó yá o jàre.
Ìjọya. sàn ní adé kò ṣeé fi sára kú ẹ jẹ́ ká sọ di kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹ jọ ìjọyà. Appreciation. Mo dúpẹ́ oníbù ọ̀rẹ́ bàbá gbọ́ ọpẹ́ mi. Appreciation. Mo dúpẹ́ oníbù ọ̀rẹ́ bàbá gbọ́ ọpẹ́ mi. Appreciation. Mo dúpẹ́ oníbù ọ̀rẹ́ bàbá gbọ́ ọpẹ́ mi. Appreciation. Mo dúpẹ́ oníbù ọ̀rẹ́ bàbá gbọ́ ọpẹ́ mi.
Bí ènìyàn kan lọ́lọ́run mi rí o, bí ènìyàn kan lọ́lọ́run mi rí, bí ènìyàn kan lọ́lọ́run mi rí o, bí ènìyàn kan lọ́lọ́run mi rí. Ẹ̀dá ló ń gbàgbé, Olúwa kò gbàgbé rẹ̀ nìkan, bí ènìyàn kan lọ́lọ́run mi rí.
Appreciation. Mo dúpẹ́ oníbù ọ̀rẹ́ bàbá gbọ́ ọpẹ́ mi. Appreciation. Mo dúpẹ́ oníbù ọ̀rẹ́ bàbá gbọ́ ọpẹ́ mi.
Ẹni bá ń kàròjinlẹ̀ ló lè mọ̀ pé èmi yóò gbé ọ̀gá Olúwa. Ẹni bá ń kàròjinlẹ̀ ló lè mọ̀ pé èmi yóò gbé ọ̀gá Olúwa.
Appreciation. Mo dúpẹ́ oníbù ọ̀rẹ́ bàbá gbọ́ ọpẹ́ mi. Appreciation. Mo dúpẹ́ oníbù ọ̀rẹ́ bàbá gbọ́ ọpẹ́ mi.
jayé ó. Ẹ dìde kẹ́ mújó, ká dìde ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ ká fi jóge, àrà kéńgé ijó ti yá. Ká dìde ká mújó, ká dìde ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ ká fi jóge, àrà kéńgé ijó ti yá.
Let your feelings show. Let your body move. Let your feelings show. Let your body move. The music is so nice and the mood is alright. The music is so nice and the mood is alright. Let us dance, let us dance, let us dance, let us dance. Let us dance, let us dance, let us dance, let us dance. Let your feelings show.
Ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ ká fi jóge, àrà kéńgé ijó ti yá. Ká dìde ká mújó, ká dìde ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ ká fi jóge, àrà kéńgé ijó ti yá.
Let your feelings show. Let your body move. Let your feelings show. Let your body move. The music is so nice and the mood is alright. The music is so nice and the mood is alright. Let us dance, let us dance, let us dance, let us dance. Let us dance, let us dance, let us dance, let us dance. Let your feelings show.
too much music at gofreshnow.com.
Good morning, everybody. We are starting shortly. The possession is already here, so can we please rise? Ushers, to lead them onto the high table.
That's why I said we should have 6.
Well, we have to
But Celebrant is the chairman.
No way they should usher people up now.
Please sit down. HOD. Good morning, everybody. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, very, very senior members, past members of the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan, and of the University of Ibadan, of course, the Department of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, and everybody else who is present. I would like to welcome you to this valedictory lecture and celebration as we celebrate the retirement of one of our icons in obstetrics and gynecology. And he's also his 70th birthday, Professor Ayodele Olatunji Arowojolu. Okay, so we'd like to start off with the national anthem. Can we rise up for the national anthem, please?
With love and strength and faith.
Can we please sit down, please? Well, I would like to again welcome everybody, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, friends, family, former colleagues, etc., who have come to celebrate with Professor Arowojolu and his family. We want to start off by recognizing some dignitaries. Everybody here is special, but you know, as it is in functions like this, we have to recognize some people. I call him, you should call him, where is he? Call him. I'll call him. You want to go to the other side? Is there space for DA? DA should come up now. DA should come up. Yes. Start with the high table. The guest of honor at this event is the Vice Chancellor, University of Ibadan. We're still expecting him, Professor K.O. Adebowale. Can we give him a round of applause? I'm sure we're still expecting him. We have two hosts today, chief hosts. One of them is the Provost of the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan, Professor Olayinka Omigbodu. Can our clap be a little bit louder, please? So I should come up. The other chief host is here we have two arms of government, the University of Ibadan, College of Medicine, and then the University College of Hospital. The Chief Medical Director of UCH Ibadan, Professor Jesse A. Otegbayo. I think he's still on his way, but let's still give him a round of applause. The host at this event is the Department of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, University of Ibadan, University College Hospital, and the head of the department is here, Professor M.A. Okunola. I don't want to recognize who we are celebrating last, so let me do that immediately so I don't forget. I will do that. Okay. So let's please recognize our celebrants. Professor and Professor Mrs. Arowojolu, please. I hope you don't mind if you come to the center so everybody will see you. So I don't forget. I'm sure later on we'll still call them out later on. The CMD is actually being represented by the DCMAC Research and Training, Education and Training, Dr. Kayode Iyun. This event is going to be chaired by a distinguished obstetrician and gynecologist, past head of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, and he also retired here many years ago, Professor Babatunde Adelusi. Our guest speaker at this lecture is the Vice President, National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, a distinguished professor of obstetrics and gynecology in his own right, a past chairman of the Faculty of Obstetrics and Gynecology of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, Professor Peter Ebeigbe. Also on the high table is the first, I made it, I don't know, protocol, things, okay. The first provost of the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan, a past chief medical director of University College Hospital, Emeritus Professor Wole Akondi. We have with us also the Deputy Provost, Professor Adeni. We have the Vice Chancellor, University of Medical Sciences, Ondo, Professor Adesegun Fatusi. Our celebrant is actually the Pro-Chancellor of that university, so we have a lot. Please, can you come to the high table, sir? I'd like to quickly recognize the other officers of the College of Medicine. Mr. A.E. Odedele, Secretary to the College. Mrs. Olayinka F. Adesonya, the Acting Financial Controller. Dr. Grace A. Ajuwon, the Medical Librarian. We have past CMDs, past provosts, past head of departments here, and other distinguished. I'll try and make sure I don't make any mistake, but we need to recognize them. It's very important. In no particular order, I would like to recognize them. Professor Oladapo A. Ladipo, Professor Emeritus and co-founder, Association of Reproductive and Family Health. Professor Emmanuel Otolori, first country director of Japaigo and a former member of the department. Professor Ogunbode, foundation provost, College of Medicine, Lautech, and his wife, Professor Ladusu Ojengbede, former provost, College of Medicine, former head of department, former acting vice chancellor. Professor Mrs. Oshinusi, former deputy provost, College of Medicine. She's also here representing her husband, who is also a distinguished obstetrician and gynecologist. Mr. Oladejo, the DA of UCH. Dr. Shoyinka DCMAC. I also have here the chairman, Faculty of Obstetrics and Gynaecology of the National Postgraduate Medical College, my good friend and brother, Professor Deji Oluwole. He's here with the secretary of the Faculty of the College of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, Professor Oyuje Umwera. Former CMD, UCH Ibadan, former head of departments, Professor Abiodun Ilesomi. The VC of Unimed came with his wife, Professor Olaomi Fatusi. She's a professor of dentistry. The Deputy Vice Chancellor of University of Medical Sciences, Ondo, is here, Professor Rose Angela Nwobi. Immediate past provost of the College of Medicine, Professor E. Oluwabumi Olakade Olaopa, is here. Professor Ogumbi, Professor of Pathology, former head of department. Professor Olaiwola Shitu, former HOD, Surgery. Professor Bakari, Professor of Microbiology. Retired. Dr. Olufemi Adesonya, Director of Medical Services, Oyo State Ministry of Health. We have students of Government College Ibadan. Are they here? Okay, can you please stand up for recognition, please? I think that's a school. Sorry. Old students. Okay, old students. I say boys. I say students. Old students. Old boys. And girls. Okay. Professor Ogunseinde, former acting provost, College of Medicine. Professor Adeyinka, consultant radiologist. Professor Ige, consultant respiratory pulmonologist. Thank you. I'd like to, at this point, hand over to Dr. Ogunbode to continue the program. Okay. Okay, yes. Professor Migbodun, former provost, College of Medicine, former head of department. Professor Wuraola Shokumbi, who is retiring next week. Professor of Hematology. And I will come back to recognize others. At this point, I'll call on the head of department, Department of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, Professor Michael A. Okunola, to give us his welcome address. Please clap for him.
Good morning. Good morning. Sorry. Good morning. Yeah. Once again to everybody. I'm here to speak as head of Department of Obs and Gynae, a department to which Professor Arowojolu belongs. At least until today. Allow me to recognize the chairman of this occasion, Professor Adelusi, one of the living legends of obstetrics and gynecology in Nigeria, former head of Department of Obs and Gynae, College of Medicine, University of Ibadan. Professor Adelusi, sir, you're welcome. Next is, I need to recognize the Vice Chancellor, Professor Kayode Adeboale, who I believe is on his way or his representative will join us very soon. The Provost College of Medicine, Professor Mrs. Yinka Obigwado, the very first female professor or provost, first female provost of the College of Medicine, Professor Mrs. Obigwado. And I will recognize here to the Chief Medical Director, Professor Jesse Otegbayo, who is represented by CMAC, who in turn is represented by Dr. Iyu. You're welcome, sir. Because of time, all other courtesies observed. I actually welcome all of us to this valedictory program in honor of Professor Ayodele Arowojolu, a prominent scholar and clinician in the field of obstetrics and gynecology, taking place today, the 27th of July, 2023. Exactly 70 years ago to the day, Professor Arowojolu was born to the family of Chief and Mrs. E.B. Arowojolu in the sleepy waterside town of Odiajagba, I hope I'm right. Ode Ajagba. Irele local government. Irele. I crave your indulgence, please. Look, of Ondo State, Ayodele Arowojolu was born to this fantastic family. An alumnus of the prestigious Government College, Ibadan, and the Ibadan College of Medicine. Thank you. His quest for knowledge led him to obtain the diploma in anesthesia in 1981 and a certificate for family planning from the Fertility Research Unit, Obs and Gynaecology Department, University of Ibadan in 1987. Professor Arowojolu joined the services of University of Ibadan as Lecturer 1 in the Department of Obs and Gynaecology in 1994. He was promoted Senior Lecturer in 1998, Professor in 2004. He has been involved in extensive training, research, and clinical practice in reproductive health for many years. His outstanding achievements, spanning decades, have left an indelible mark on both the College of Medicine and the University College Hospital Ibadan. He has been recognized and honored by various medical bodies. To mention a few, he is Fellow of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, Fellow of the West African College of Surgeons, Fellow of the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists of the United Kingdom, member, Nigeria Institute of Management, and recipient of the Doctor of Medicine MD degree of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. Round of applause, please. Professor Arowojolu served as head of department of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, College of Medicine, from 2011 to 2015, faculty secretary, and later chairman of the Faculty of Obstetrics and Gynaecology at the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria from 2016 to 2018. He is currently Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Council of the University of Medical Sciences, Ondo State, Nigeria. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, the Department of Obs and Gynae has accepted Professor Arowojolu's retirement with mixed feelings. Happy that he is deservedly retiring to rest after a lengthy period of unblemished service. But at the same time, on the other hand, worried that with the recent spate of retirements among the top echelon of senior professors in the College of Medicine, there is the urgent need to fill these academic positions very soon with qualified junior faculty that will require some degree of mentoring, as nature is said to abhor a vacuum. Professor Arowojolu's commitment to the community is acknowledged. He has been bestowed with the titles of Knight of John Wesley, Ba Shegun of Modakeke beside Ile-Ife. And he is the Obateru of Ajagba Kingdom. Please, I'm sorry. I'm very much a Yoruba man. It's a shame that I'm not pronouncing those things well. I'm more Yoruba than even Professor Arowojolu. An Oyo man should not be committing this kind of blunders. I apologize. A gentleman of great accomplishments and integrity. A gentleman of great accomplishments and integrity. He shares his life journey with his beloved wife, Ayodele Olatunji Arowojolu. I'm sorry to call you like that. Ayodele Olatunji Arowojolu, a distinguished professor of periodontics in the Faculty of Dentistry here in Ibadan, and also a former dean of the Faculty of Dentistry. A round of applause for her. Professor Mrs. Arowojolu belongs to that top echelon that I was talking about. I hope she's not going soon. So you still have some time with us, man. Their marriage, that is the marriage of Professor Arowojolu to Mrs. Ayodele Arowojolu, has been described as one ordained in heaven. They are extremely compatible. For those who know them, I wonder, they're very, very compatible. And you can see the love birds anywhere they are, exuding so much love. Well, they are a sight to behold. They are blessed with children and grandchildren. Mr. Chairman, sir, members of the high table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let us patiently sit back, relax, and enjoy the proceedings of this valedictory program to celebrate our own Professor Ayodele Olatunji Arowojolu. I thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, my head of department. Let me just quickly recognize a few more people. Coming in right now as a former Minister of Health, past Vice Chancellor, former Provost, past Dean, former HOD, former Professor I.F. Adewale. Also here is the past Provost, Professor of Neurosurgery, Professor Shokunbi. We have here members of the Arowojolu family, sister, children, and grandchildren. Please, can you stand up for recognition, please? If you don't mind. I'm sure you will join us for pictures later. And the Arowojolu family. We are celebrating you today. Also here is former HOD of 1G, Dr. Olujimi. I think I saw you. Maybe I stepped out. Okay. Professor Aneto is here, Professor of Chemical Pathology. Yes. I think I saw him. Professor Fasamadi, I think I saw him too. Okay. I think they are. All right. At this point, I will call on the chairman of this event, Professor Babatunde Adelusi, to give his opening remarks.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, in absentia, his representative. Let me use that as a point of contact for all those people who have been listed as honored guests. To fulfill all the protocol that is necessary. It gives me a great pleasure to be here today as a retired staff of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, University of Ibadan, as well as the chairman of this occasion. I was overwhelmed when my friend and young colleague came to see me to express his desire that I should come and chair his valedictory lecture. This was because ever since I left the department early in 1986, I've had very little contact with the department for so many reasons. One, I retired officially. I tried my hands in private practice. I couldn't make it. And therefore, I had to check out. Like the Andrews of this SAP days, that was the days of the structural adjustment program. I have little or no contact with the department, not because I desired so, but for circumstances. However, I understand that the department has kept the idea of sending away all our retired officers in those days with a befitting gift and a send-off party. When Ayo told me that he was retiring, therefore, I was expecting a similar situation. He told me that at 70, he had no choice but to retire, having fulfilled all the obligations of the mentoring that he had when we were all young in the department. In the same breath, however, I was thrilled to hear that one of the younger generation is now retiring, not only after a meritorious service of professional and academic mentoring, which he received from the people of old, ready to step aside, having fulfilled all his obligations, played his part over the present mentees. Now, I'm certain that he has fought a good fight, finished his race, kept the faith, and today, having attained the retirement age of 70, is ready to step aside. He has won his prize as a faithful servant. In the days of old, as I said, it was a game of send up or find appointment elsewhere. It is therefore noteworthy and a cause for joy to see the new trend of organized college valedictory lectures as the order of the day, to show that improvements have continued to be made to appreciate the mentors for a job well done. I cannot recall all the categories of trainees who passed through this great department in the early 80s, but I'm sure, I can be sure of the young ones, the young doctors like Abiodun Ilesanmi, Fọlọ́runṣọ́ Adéwọlé, Ṣẹ́gun Odùkọ̀yà, Ayodele Arowojolu, to the set of the next set that I remember, Akinyinka Omigbodun, Justin Konje, Femi Kuti, all who later made it to the peak of their professional and academic careers in various fields too. And now are either retired or are retiring. I was surprised when one of my younger friends in the college, in the hospital, sent me a note, a poster of the valedictory lecture, where he remarked, talking to people like me, that we should know that we are getting younger when the children are bowing out. And I said to him, surely not when most of us are in the twilight zones of our lives. But nevertheless, it's a joy. I am glad, therefore, to report instead that we have laid a similar foundation for mentoring in my present disposition, for the training of preachers, not teachers, not lecturers. When my Archbishop told me, as a former teacher and a preacher now, to redesign the preaching activities of the church, to make a priesthood of all believers, I'm glad to report that, like the mentoring of old, this one is still going on very well. Once again, I welcome all the university staff and distinguished guests present here today. Permit me to mention some of my big ogas when I was there. I refer to the first provost of the College of Medicine, Professor Oluwole Akonde, my oga, Professor Olatoye Ogunbode, my colleague and friends, Professor Oladapo Oladipo Tolorin, and so many of them that I cannot start naming them by now, because they've been listed as part of the team. I would also like to give credit to the guest lecturer, the distinguished lecturer, Professor Peter Ndidi Ebeigbe, who is currently the Vice President of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, and the topic of his lecture is Mentoring in Postgraduate Medical Education, a Dying Art. This lecture is very apt at this particular time in the state of this nation, when most of our graduating medical doctors, medical professionals, are eyeing overseas jobs and positions due to the lack of motivation in the system and job satisfaction, which is existing at present in Nigeria, unfortunately. It is my belief that the lecturer will do justice to the topic to the benefit of the coming generation. I wish him the very best of God's blessings as he delivers his message. I congratulate Professor Ayodele Olatunji Arowojolu, to me, Ayo, for a job well done, to which many others behind him will be able to testify in the future, and for the well-deserved retirement in the same breath, lest this the mentoring procedure of our young ones will become a dying art. Finally, I cannot forget to give my deep appreciation to our guest lecturer for the anticipated lecture, for I am not unaware of the effort he must have put into this lecture, preparing this intellectually challenging presentation. And also, my deepest appreciation to the Department of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, and particularly through the head of department, for the honor given me to chair this occasion. May God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Can we give him a round of applause, please? Before we take a few Goodwill messages, I would like to recognize in the audience Professor Gbemisola Oke, former DVC Academics, UI, and a professor of periodontology and community dentistry. Also here is Professor Juliana Taiwo, a retired professor of periodontology and community dentistry. Please permit me now to call on the Provost of the College of Medicine, Professor Olayinka Omigbodun, to give her Goodwill message.
In the spirit of trying to go paperless, I try as much as possible to move around with a laptop so that we can save money by paper, by using. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. It is a day of joy, a day of rejoicing, a great privilege to be here with you, Professor Arowojolu, as you transit into a new season of life. What a great privilege to be here. In health and strength, in peace and joy, you are here with your beloved wife and your children and grandchildren and everyone in the entire College of Medicine here to rejoice with you. We are so delighted. The chairman of this very, very beautiful occasion, Professor Babatunde Adelusi, my teacher from medical school. God bless you, sir. I haven't seen you in many, many years, but I'm so happy that you're looking great today. And thank you so much for the beautiful lecture, the beautiful chairman's address that you gave. We always appreciate our teachers. God bless you. I must also acknowledge the Chief Medical Director, ably represented by the DCMAC. God bless you. The Deputy Provost, Professor Ade Fatai Adeni. Thank you very much. I can see that you are behind your laptop. Is it usual for you to bring laptop? You know, we're trying to maximize our time. The work is too much. So thank you for your diligence. And if you want to go on the journey, look for a good physiotherapist like Professor Adeni. Acknowledge you. Thank you. I must also acknowledge very, very much our pioneer Provost and Pioneer Chief Medical Director, Emeritus Professor Oluwole Akonde. Sir, if you have not watched the video of that historical video he gave at his 85th birthday, it's all over. Please Google it up now. You must watch it. It's a real treasure where he tells us about how the College of Medicine was formed and tells us many, many secrets to success. Secrets of how to live to 85 years old. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you and your beautiful wife. You are always with us. Acknowledge you. I must also acknowledge our former Vice Chancellor, and he has a lot of formers attached to his name. Former Vice Chancellor, former Minister, former Provost, former Dean. Sir, I think you are going to be moving very soon into a present something. So we all have our hearts in anticipation. Professor Adewole, thank you for taking time to come here. And also the former Deputy Vice Chancellor, our beautiful, able, and trailblazing Professor Gbemisola Oke. Ma, I acknowledge you. And thank you so much. You are the chairperson of our building committee. And with you at the helm of affairs, so far we have raised 1.4 billion naira. Oh, yes. Thank you so much. I have to follow due process, and I acknowledge all the past provosts are here. I've already acknowledged our pioneer provost. I acknowledge my teacher, Professor Jengbede. God bless you for being here. Professor Shokumbi. I acknowledge my special senior advisor, my life partner, and my friend, Professor Akiyinka Omigbodu, the first gentleman of the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan. And acknowledge the 11th Provost, Professor Olaukwa. Thank you so much for being here. And yes. And then we have many deputy provosts here. Our pioneer female deputy professor, Oshunusi, acknowledge you, ma. Thank you for being a trailblazer and a role model to us women. And of course, we have Professor Ogunseinde and Professor Deloye, the immediate past deputy provost. The secretary to the college, Mr. Emmanuel Odedele, I don't know if he's here, but should be the acting financial controller, Mrs. Olainka Adesonya. I acknowledge both of you. Yesterday, we were in a meeting on Zoom till 10 p.m. Management is working round the clock. Thank you so much, ma. We're trying to resolve so many issues. The medical librarian, deputy university librarian, Dr. Grace Ajumo. I saw her coming. Are you here? Where are you? Yes, at the back. Please come to the front. And then the vice chancellor of Ondo's University of Medical Sciences, Ondo, that's Professor Shegun Fatusi, and his wife, Professor Fatusi. Please, I think I want to acknowledge both of you. You have been a long friend of mine. We've worked together in the area of adolescent health, and you've done excellent things. Now you are in administration. I hope the adolescents will not suffer too much with your absence. Thank you so much. We also have here past Chief Medical Director, Professor Ilesomi. God bless you, sir. The Director of Administration of UCH, Mr. Oladejo. Every time we need help, thank you for making sure we had 8,000 square meters plus of land for our student hostel. God bless you. I appreciate you. And I acknowledge here all the deans, the directors, the deans are here, the director of the Institute for Advanced Medical Research and Training, Professor Ike Oluwapo Ajayi. I recognize you here. I saw you here. And of course, the Ibadan College of Medicine Alumni Association Worldwide President, Professor Emmanuel Dikpo Toluri. Sir, I am very, very grateful. I'm so grateful to you. You've been working with us, teaching us, advising us, and doing so many awesome things. I acknowledge you, sir. And your beloved wife, who is the first female physician at this year, the national president of M1. God bless you both. Thank you very much. The head of O&G and all my teachers here. I must single out Professor Ladipo and all my teachers who taught me so excellently when I was in medical school. And that's why I can stand here, because of teachers like you, sir. Thank you so much. And the directors, heads of departments, there are so many distinguished professors here. Professor Arowojolu, you've closed down the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan today. All the distinguished professors are in this meeting. God bless them. God, thank you so much for coming. And the president of the National Postgraduate College of Nigeria, thank you, and your secretary. And the guest lecturer of today, we are looking very much to listening to your lecture. Thank you so much. Today is a beautiful day. Professor Ayodele Olatunji Arowojolu is a prominent scholar and a clinician in the field of obstetrics and gynecology. And he has dedicated his remarkable career to enriching the medical community through his exceptional contributions to education, research, and clinical practice. His outstanding achievements have spanned several decades and have left an indelible mark on both the College of Medicine and the University College Hospital. I'm going to describe him by several adjectives. Professor Arowojolu is very approachable. He always has a welcoming countenance. Wherever you are, you meet him on the road, he always, you know, there are some people when they are moving, like me, you'll be afraid. Oh, no, I have a welcoming countenance too. But Professor Arowojolu, I was on the same floor with him for several years, the third floor. You know, O&G took a lot of space in this college. That's block. They have the whole fourth floor, and then they came and they squeezed psychiatry together with medicine. But their sins are forgiven. Professor Jangbede, you're looking at me, it's true. But he always had a welcoming countenance. Whether you were a student, whether you were admin, you could always feel he's somebody you could walk up and ask for advice or counsel. And then he has a peaceful presence, very peaceful. You see him and he's unruffled. He exudes peace. And I believe that must come from his relationship with God. He has a peaceful countenance. You know, I'm just thinking of something now. You know, Professor Adelusi is a priest in the Methodist Church. Am I right, sir? And you are a Methodist. Is there any link why? Oh, yes. I'm just putting two and two together. Yes. Very peaceful. He's also willing to serve. Like was said earlier, he served as the head of Department of Obstetrics and Gynaecology. And I'll be honest with you, being a HOD is a thankless job. In this time, you know, in the past, there was this story of, Professor Olumbe Basia, who was like head of department for like 20 or more years. Maybe then there was a lot of things to be, you know. Now, being head of department, I have to keep begging my heads of departments to hold on. There's nothing to it. They are the receiving end, there's no money, and it's just suffering and smiling. Yes. So we acknowledge the heads of department, and thank you, sir, for serving. It's a job of sacrifice, and he did it with dignity and respect. A job that he was able to do things despite the little meager resources. He also served as chairman of the Faculty of Obstetrics and Gynaecology at the National Postgraduate Medical College. You know, at the time I was asked to come and serve in that capacity for psychiatry. And when I thought about where Ijaniki is located, I thought to myself, this is out of the way. You first of all get to Lagos and start another journey to Badagry. Sir, I don't know how you did it, but you did a great job. We celebrate you. That was really a sacrifice. And then another thing is that he trained in the best of the best. He attended a secondary school that we know is one of the foremost secondary schools in Nigeria. Up GCI. Nobody is answering. I will say up Loyo. Because I have links to both. My brothers went to GCI and my husband went to Loyola. So up GCI, up Loyo. And currently he serves as the pro-chancellor and chairman of council of the University of Medical Sciences, working hand in hand with his vice chancellor. And I'm sure they're going to take that university to great and great heights. And honestly, I think that we must not let him go. We need him to stay on and use his skills. So as he's moving into a new era, I don't call it retirement. The head of the department will say he's going to rest. No, he's not going to rest. He's moving with health and strength. You go and rest. No, it's not even good. Studies have shown that he needs to keep active to the finish line. Yes. So I'm appealing to him at this time to use this period to help build our universities, particularly our public universities. In your position as pro-chancellor, I'm sure you'll be meeting with other pro-chancellors when they are reconstituted. The public universities they are really an endangered species. And honestly, I could spend 6 hours talking about the problems that we are facing. Things are really, really bad. Things are really bad. And we need people that will be bold and will tell the government the truth about the situation of things. It's either you own something and look after it, or you let it go and becomes private. I'm serious. We cannot be in between. There's a serious, serious problem with the public universities, and we can no longer keep quiet. And I've said I'm going to speak out. There are serious problems with funding for public universities. And that's why so many of our young people, lecturers, the best minds, are leaving the country in droves. Fine, they may be going to a more difficult climb, but they are leaving. And there's trouble, there's fire on the mountain. So the government needs to recognize that the public universities are really struggling to stay afloat. And then another thing I wanted to mention, sir, is that as you are moving out today, we are welcoming you to the Living Legends group. Yes. Last year, our administration launched the maiden edition of the College of Medicine, Learning from Her Living Legends. And we had a meeting here. Because we know, and I'm going to read, it says, the elders are the history and the mirror of the past. Study them to brighten your life and your future. The elders are the history and the mirror of the past. Study them to brighten your life and your future. Any society that casts their elders aside has missed it. We need our elders with us. I was so fascinated. A few weeks ago, I went to the Department of Economics, and I saw a huge building there. And that building is for their retired teachers, because they are still working in the system. They are still teaching, supervising. They are a gold mine of information, of wisdom. And I think we need to work towards that. So we are trying to see what we can put in place to ensure that our living legends will remain in the system and continue to be a blessing, because we need them. And of course, he is a man of great accomplishments and integrity, sharing his life journey with his beloved wife, a distinguished professor of dentistry and former dean. And they are blessed with children and grandchildren. And so as you move into this new phase, this morning I had a very interesting word from the scripture that came forth, and I'm going to share it with you because I found it very, very helpful. And since today is your birthday, I say it's from Isaiah 43 verse 19. It says, "Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." What is a wilderness? An uninhabited and uncultivated area. What is a desert? An uninhabited tract of land. A wilderness, solitude. God is saying that He is doing a new thing. That there are still areas that you're going to be fruitful and productive. So congratulations, and may God bless you and keep you. Amen.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Please give a resounding clap. Thank you. I don't know how I skipped Professor Olayemi. He was one of the first that came in here. Former head of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, Professor Olayemi. I'm sorry, sir. I'll go on now to the Goodwill message from the CMD, UCH. Dr. Inyo, DC Mark will give this on behalf of the CMD, Professor Otekbayo.
Thank you. Well, it's a bit difficult to give a goodwill message after Professor. Well, so I can assure you I'm not going in that direction. But I will pick a few things. First of all, I believe that this is the day that the Lord has made, and we have every cause to rejoice and be glad in it. I want to celebrate with Celebrant, Professor and Professor Mrs. Arowojolu. Also, I want to acknowledge all those on the high table. Professor Ayodele, interestingly, I didn't know you were a professor. I just used to see you in Methodist Church. I didn't know. So, I'm sorry, sir. So I'm delighted I'm representing the Professor J.C. Otegbayo, the CMD, who's unavoidably absent, and also Dr. Moshood Adeoye, the CMAC, who is also unavoidably absent. Also the management team, Mr. O.S. Oladejo, the DA, is also here, and also they're also members of the management team. We're happy to be here, today I actually wanted to write a tribute to Professor Arowojolu. I didn't know that I'll have the privilege of being here. So I would say a little bit of what I wanted to say in the tribute, while acknowledging the fact that the management, the board of management, and also the staff of UCH really celebrate you. We thank you for all the work you have done in UCH. It's difficult for us to say it all, but you are very much appreciated. I'll just say a few personal things before we end. Well, I've let it out of the bag. My mom and him they go to the same church. So occasionally, mom will say, Ayo, Ayo, say Ayo. I'll be wondering, why does he say Ayo so lovingly? Well, my late father's name was Ayo, so I can guess maybe that's one of the reasons why. So, he has even called me today that Ayo is having something today. I said, well, I know this is where you are going to have it. But beyond that, when my wife and I had issues concerning fertility, it was him that we came to meet, and he's the one that God used, and we delivered our 3 children. And we want to appreciate you personally for that. Also, the fact, of course, I finished from here, so he's one of my teachers. And one of the best things I think you can give your teacher is also to teach their own children. And one of the children passed through us. And I thought that, you either give, the way your teacher has taught you, you should also teach them. If they didn't teach you well, you should make sure you don't teach them well. But because he taught us well, we made sure we also trained him well, and even wrote a paper during that short time. I don't know whether I mentioned to you, the short time he was with us in plastic surgery, he actually wrote a paper. So there's a paper published in the name of his son, just to show that we actually acknowledge you. So once again, I want to say thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you, Dr. Yu, for your wonderful Goodwill message. So we're now going on to the guest lecture. I'd like to call on Dr. Adeshina, who's going to give a citation of the guest lecturer. Please clap for her.
The chairman of this wonderful occasion, the celebrants, members of the high table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor and privilege to read the citation of our guest lecturer of today, Professor Peter Ndidi Ebeigbe. Professor Peter Ndidi Ebeigbe, a professor of obstetrics and gynecology at Delta State University, Abraka, Delta State. He is also the vice president of the prestigious National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. Professor Peter Ndidi Ebeigbe graduated with a Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery degree from the University of Ibadan, Benin City.
University of Benin. I am programmed to Ibadan. He commenced his residency training at the Department of Obstetrics and Gynaecology of the University of Benin, Teaching Hospital, Benin, in June 1998. There he was tutored by some of the most seasoned obstetricians and gynecologists in this country. And so he completed his residency on time in October 2003. So he is a fellow of the faculties of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, and the West African College of Surgeons. Professor Peter Ndidi Ebeigbe also has other academic training, resulting in, among others, a diploma in minimal access surgery, a certificate in assisted reproductive technology, a master's degree in public health from the University of Liverpool, and the postgraduate doctor of medicine, MD degree from the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. Professor Peter Ndidi Ebeigbe has been extensively involved in medical education, both at the undergraduate and postgraduate levels, for over 2 decades, making him an apt choice for the valedictory lecture of today. He served as the provost of the College of Health Sciences, Delta State University, Abraka, between 2014 and 2018. Professor Ebeigbe has also served in the Faculty Board of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria since 2010 till date. He served meritoriously as faculty secretary for 2 terms between 2014 and 2018, and faculty chairman for 2 terms, 2019 to 2022. He is married to Jennifer Aleye Ebeigbe, another professor, this time a professor of optometry at the University of Benin, and they are blessed with 3 children. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I give you a guest lecturer for this valedictory program, Professor Peter Ndidi Ebeigbe.
The distinguished chairman of this august occasion, Professor Babatunde Adelusi, permit me to align with the person that introduced me. I actually think that I schooled in the University of Ibadan, Benin City. It struck me as they were introducing all the dignitaries that most of my mentors actually schooled here. Professor Orwe, Professor Okbere, I could name over 10 of them. So if my teachers schooled here, maybe I schooled here too. So she was in the spirit. I am sure I cannot establish the protocol better than has already been established, especially the one by Professor Mrs. Omigbodun. So, Chairman, sir, permit me to acknowledge only 2 persons and stand on the existing protocol. The first one is the man we are celebrating, who I call my chairman. The second person is the person that examined me in the part 2 exam, Professor Ladipo. I am scared that if I don't acknowledge him, he might change his mind and reverse the past. It's a great honor to deliver this short lecture in honor of the man I call my chairman. I have known him for over 20 years, and I had the privilege of working with him as faculty secretary for 4 years between 2015 and 2018, and I learned a lot from him. Much of what I would have said, Madam has already said. The quiet man, the patient, nothing ruffles him. And those that know me very well know that ordinarily that's not how I am. I am learning and I'm still learning, and I've enjoyed it. So I am full of joy to join everyone in celebrating this great man as he steps aside to serve humanity in a new capacity. That's the way I consider it. My Oga looks 50. I just looked at him this morning and said, this man's 70, then there's hope, if this is how you look at 70. And then when you come here and you see the older ones, including Professor Ayodele, there's really hope. So I'm going to follow this outline. I don't intend to keep you for too long. So as we were introducing the seniors, Professor Ayodele, and when Professor Ayodele calls your guys the younger ones, you know how you feel. As we were introducing them, I remembered 2 of my teachers. The good one, I will call his name. The other one, I won't call his name for obvious reasons. It's my teacher. So we're doing our senior posting in medicine. And this man is an accomplished physician. Well known, a top guy. We spent 6 weeks with him. The man never had time for us. He comes for a word round. He asks you one question. We were doing a posting. We were students, for God's sake. We were sent to him because we were green. But every day he reminded us that we were very green. You are too green. And then he sends us to his registrar. 6 weeks. Unfortunately for us, he didn't have a senior registrar during that 6 weeks. And his registrar was a little bit slow, not the best of products. So we watched our colleagues in other groups moving stuff, answering questions, making progress. But thank God for a man called Professor Issa. He's a clinical pharmacologist. Issa had time for us. He had time for us. Issa will take your hand and put it on the abdomen and tell you, this is how you examine the liver. And it will remain with you until you do it perfectly. No wonder when I finished medical school, I wanted to do internal medicine. But somehow I changed my mind as time went on. So the point I'm making is that this is a core thing we're looking at. And I want to appeal to all of us to examine, to reflect and examine ourselves. Unfortunately, it's those that you train that will make judgments. You can think whatever you like about yourself. You can feel that the world revolves around you. But God forbid that those who you are training are just enduring you because you're not really useful to them. The younger ones know those who are useful to them, and they remain eternally grateful. So a mentorship is a relationship, and it's good that we emphasize this very from the outset. It's not a one-way thing. It's a relationship between 2 people who are the individual with more experience, knowledge, and connections is able to pass along what he or she has learned to a more junior individual within a certain field. There are different definitions, but I find this quite practical. So the mentor draws from his or her lifelong academic, professional, and other experiences to challenge, encourage, support, and provide feedback to mentees. You can look at it in different ways. You have a traditional model where you have a hierarchy. You have the man who is the mentor and you have the man who is the mentee. You could look at it differently. In other settings, it may not really be that hierarchical. It could be different persons in a peer group or individuals in the same work setting mutually helping themselves to learn different things. But whichever way you look at it, you will have, apart from mentorship at a distance, you can have formal, it can be a formal thing, deliberately planned, recognized. It can be informal, an ad hoc arrangement. It could involve peer mentorship. It could be a sport thing that occurs for a short while to learn something or to help you out with something, and then the person's life moves on. My focus in this short discussion is on person-to-person mentorship. In fact, not the whole of person-to-person mentorship, but an aspect of it, which is demanding, time demanding. I mean, you practically give all that you have. I am hoping that at the end of this, we can challenge ourselves to do more and more of it. Before I go on, let me just remind us that mentorship is like parenting in so many ways. The process of mentorship is like childbearing and child upbringing. Because in a true mentorship relationship, we actually consciously or unconsciously share our character. We share our academic and professional DNA with our mentees. And we nurture the manifestations of the transferred genes to them. As we watch them grow, people grow at different rates. Like I have 3 children, they are very different. Any person that has children knows that children are different. The methods you use for this one are not effective for this one. That's the way mentorship is. Each person that you're mentoring is unique. And it requires attention, it requires time, it requires effort, thought. So really, as they grow older, we train them to learn, not only from us. It's a bad mentor that insists that the mentee depends on him alone. A good mentor gets to a point where he realizes this guy has get to maturity. And he begins to win like a mother wins the child from taking breast milk. And get the mentee used to learning from others too. Links them to the best brains in the field. His whole hunger and his whole desire is that at the end, the mentee is better than him. Therefore, in the years that are ahead of him, he takes pride in the fact that I had a hand in this guy's upbringing. Look what he has turned out into. Like I said earlier, the irony of life is that ultimately it is our children who make judgments as to how useful we were as mothers and fathers to them. You can say you were the best father, you were the best mother. Only your children can really say it. When they get old enough that you're no more a threat to them and they can speak to you frankly, they can teasingly say, Daddy, you were never really there for us. When all along you thought, you were doing your best by your own concept of being a father. This is why it's important for you and I to reflect and make sure we're doing the right things so that we don't waste our lives in quote mentoring. And in the end, all along, the people we thought we were mentoring were enduring us. So similarly, our mentees ultimately judge our actions or inactions as trainers and whether we were useful to them or just endured. And I looked at this very senior, guys. Professor Ayodele I had never met before. I heard about him from a distance. So if all I did today was to come and sit down by cameramen, please make sure you take a picture of myself and Professor Ayodele. I'm going to show it to my children and show it to my wife. I heard about him, You hear about, you shake when you hear about the stories, your seniors, who made them in exams. You know the kind of stories we hear, Sir, they were good stories, sir. and somehow, sometimes you thank your God, thank God I was not mature enough to face this man. So we remind ourselves before we move on that the core components are that a more knowledgeable, experienced person guides and nurtures the professional development or growth and character of another. It may exist in formal settings, like we've said. It may be informal. So I'm going to call on 2 witnesses, 2 doctors who have written about their experiences in the US. They are second-generation Americans, Indian, Pakistani, whose parents settled in the US. and they are renowned cardiologists. They highlight two categories of mentorship, person-to-person mentorship. The traditional one that we are all used to is transactional or facilitatory. So I approach Professor Boluwole and say, sir, please, could I be your mentee? Or I am matched by a program. And he knows, he looks at me as his mentor or as his mentee and all that. It's a planned thing. That is the traditional one. In which the promise is that, the hope is that if I stick with him, and sticking with him can be defined in so many ways. In some settings, I don't know what, even if I said I schooled in Ibadan, I don't know the culture in Ibadan. It might mean that to impress him, you go and work in his clinic. And when he offers you money, you say, no sir, no sir. Even if in your heart you are wishing to collect the money, you say, okay, take you sir, take you sir, take you sir, All you are hoping is that if this man is happy with you, he makes your progress easier, isn't it? Your passing exam easier. Or you're moving up, if he's there when they are debating your papers, our promotion, A and PC. When they say, this paper is not, he say no. He stands for you and that kind of thing. That is this one. So you are hoping that if you stick with him and you work hard, the mentor will grease your progress towards success. Now, this is the focus of most mentorship programs that are formal in the US, in the UK, and a few that are coming up in Nigeria. The mentee wants to progress faster. That's all. So he looks for whoever he thinks might help him to progress faster. But the two persons that I've called upon mention another type of mentoring, which is what I'm trying to emphasize today. And this one is what I have benefited from. And I'm going to show you pictures of some of my mentors as I progress in this discussion. A more primordial form that is difficult to quantify and probably rarer to find. These mentors believe in their students. They spot something in their students or in their mentees. They see hunger, they see drive, they see potential, and they decide unconsciously that I'm going to assist this person. It was not an arrangement for pay. It's a desire, and he gets joy from seeing that fulfilled. So these mentors believe in their students. They ignite a sharing desire to ask questions. They make answering these questions a highly satisfying experience, even if beset with dead ends. They truly believe that it would be a shame if so much talent were to be wasted. So for them, the primary thing is not immediate success. It is the quality of what comes out. With time, the person will succeed. But really, the success that you are looking for immediately is the improvement in quality in what the person knows. And they conclude that the best gift that their mentors, those who consider mentors, had been to them was not primarily success in their careers, but that someone noticed that they were capable of doing something. It's an amazing thing. When we are very young, I've had mentors who, when you didn't know your potential, you're just growing up. Somehow, they can see through you that this guy this is a good guy. It's raw, but it's good. And they spot it. And they encourage you and help you to actualize it. And they said that they lit the spark. They showed us the whole new way of thinking. That for them was the best thing. That somebody had an interest in them, invested his or her life and time, and made them become what they could never have become if they had not met them. So, sirs and mars, I'm sure, there are big people here. My provost, sir, my provost, I'm sure you can think of one person, at least one person. I'm not going to ask to call the person because you might just be in trouble. The way I see, if you call one person, I'll not call the other one and say, hey, so I'm not your mentor, isn't it? But most of us who have achieved anything can look back and identify at least one person who is selfless the way we are describing. Somebody who paid some price, who contributed. Sometimes you didn't ask him. He just took an interest in you, and you are grateful for it. Nobody else illustrates this better than these three gentlemen whose pictures you are seeing. Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle. Perhaps nobody else has influenced Western reasoning and Western thinking more than these three. Much of what you think you know, you're actually thinking like these guys, if you go and read their works. And it started by the first of them feeling that, look, the way to understand the world and understand things, understand men, is to recognize his order. So instead of looking for disorder, look for order. And so Socrates dwelt all his writings on the order of the soul and the order of the polis. Plato continued from there. The order of the soul, the order of the republic, and the order of the universe. Aristotle, the order of the soul, the order of nature, and the order of the universe. Much of what you and I think, take for granted, were the ideas of these young men, when they were younger, of course. But that's not where I'm going. Where I'm going is the fact that these three guys produced somebody called Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great lived for only 33 years and almost conquered the whole world. Why? Because from a very early age, we were exposed to the writings of these men. He spent quite some of his life with one of them, the last of them. He influenced his approach towards military warfare, towards governance, everything. Because he built on them, this man achieved so much in a few years at the age of 33. And that's what mentorship can do. The joy of a mentor ought to be that the next generation is better than we are. And that the one after that is even much, much better. And I know that many of our senior guys who are, senior men who are here, when they look at the college that they toiled in, I hope you find some joy, sir. If we have failed you, tell us now, sir. That committee of legends, I think we form it in the college too, so that we can learn from them. But the point is, people who have paid the price in the past ought to see if they have done their work, and if the people who they are mentored are responsive. Things should be getting better. You should not wish for what happened in the 70s. We should thank God for what happened in the 70s and be happy that we have moved forward. So we discuss the feature of the best mentors so that you can actually examine yourself whether you are a mentor. There are people who have big names but really have no time for anybody. Even what they call mentoring is about themselves. It's about themselves. Hello. So the man gives you a penny because he knows that if he gives you a penny, he gets something in return. That's not mentorship. The two persons involved must share some core values. If it's believe in hard work, both the mentor believes in hard work, the mentee must believe in hard work too. If you believe in honesty, they must share some core values. I mean, I've seen Professor Miko don't quote the scriptures liberally here, so please allow me to follow her footsteps and quote it. Amos 3:3, can two walk except they be agreed? You can't walk if you're not agreed. The mentee sees something good. I've also wondered, could it be something bad too? Because some guys might just say, this guy's a sharp guy, man. Let me learn from him. Who knows? If the mentor is a fraud, a younger one who is prone to fraud might just want him to, I hear about Yahoo boys having academies. God forbid that should be our experience. But we're saying that the mentee sees something good in the professional life and character of the mentor and desires to be close to them. When I was not married, I met some couples who, even if I didn't know what it was like to have a wife, you just say yourself, when I grow up, I want my family to be like this. You feel something about them. The same thing, when you are a resident, you meet some of these seniors, and their courage just say, man, if I can be half as good as this man, I think I've lived my life well. And if you have many of them and you work towards it, you can achieve a lot. The mentor sees potential, I mentioned this earlier, talent, hunger, commitment, drive, or something else in the mentee, and is willing to devote his or her time and resources to help nurture what is seen, evolve, and blossom to maturity. Like all relationships, this requires commitment on both sides. Mentorship that we're talking about ought to be a lifelong thing. It becomes a friendship. It evolves. As the mentee matures, you stop being the one who receives. In fact, it can almost reverse sometimes. The mentor starts learning from the mentee sometimes. There is nothing as frustrating as trying to mentor a self-centered, unteachable person who is set in his or her ways. I'm sure my seniors know what I'm talking about. A terrible thing. You're trying to help the guy thinks you are a nuisance. You're making his life difficult. No one expects you to invest precious wealth and over a lifetime on those who do not appreciate or desire them. The Bible says, don't cast your pearls as swine. He said they will match it at food. They will turn and they will tear you in pieces. If a man does not value something, don't give it to him. You're wasting your time. So allow me to introduce to you one of the best CMDs that this country had ever seen. Professor Eugene Okpere. He trained in Ibadan. Why you clap better? And allow me to show you somebody else. This thing is not going backwards. I was going to show you Professor A.A.E. Orwe. These are two of my best. There are many of them, but these two readily come to mind. Half of what I know, I learned from these men. And I am not ashamed to mention them anywhere. The best mentors are usually very enthusiastic, and they are good at what they do, and they are confident in their convictions. They love the profession deeply. They know that the producing themselves is the best contribution they could ever make, despite the toil required. Though they are usually very busy persons, they are unsparingly generous with their time towards their mentees. When they see prospect, see potential, they make time for them. So do you make time for your mentees? Sorry, I'm just asking. I schooled in the University of Ibadan, Benin. So I'm asking those who are in the University of Ibadan. Do you have time for those you call mentees? Do you have time for them? Are we so busy that we are under names that people hide under? And we don't have much content. Like I said, unfortunately, the younger ones that will judge us. So it's good for us to once in a while reflect and ask ourselves, are we really contributing? The best mentors will not only have a keen devotion to their talents, but more so to character. I have problems with people who think they are role models, who don't care about character. I don't envy them. I just bear them. They are a shame, really. They are as much emblems of success in their professions as they are to ethical conduct and character. A good mentor should only teach you the skills, soft or hard skills. You should see in his life the character that you should become. That way, moving forward becomes easy. Just become like him. It's easy. That's what a mentor should do. Men and women with inflated egos cannot be good mentors. A healthy dose of self-esteem and confidence is necessary to avoid being petty, irritable, or easily threatened. Good mentors instill in their mentees a deep sense of history, helping them to understand how a thought originated and how it progressed over many decades to its present form. If a mentee understands the principles that have helped things to evolve, he can anticipate the future because the same principles will still stand. If he only knows facts, then he cannot move forward. When he faces a new situation, he doesn't quite understand what to do. They help mentees develop an inquisitive mindset and guide them to ask questions outside their comfort zones and relate those to issues they will face in their regular practice. They have an unrelenting emphasis on quality and excellence, manifest in deliberate thoroughness and comprehensiveness as they guide mentees in acquiring skills, surgical, academic, writing, presentation, and public speaking, etc. We went to Jos University Hospital for accreditation. And there's a colleague of ours who, I'm forgetting his name, Musa, who did a PhD out of interest in the US, and he's quite good academically. And we're meeting with the residents, and we're asking them, how many of them have been supervised by this guy? If you had this guy of this quality, nobody goes to him to supervise their dissertations. You remember what they said? They said, he's too thorough. Our guy is too thorough. That when you send it back to him, when he finishes, every comma, So they replace somebody who will not read it. Are you getting my point? Somebody who they give it to the person holds it for 1 week, and say, excuse me, sir, please, the deadline for submitting this thing is next week, sir. It's okay, see me tomorrow. So when the person, before he sleeps, he just scans through it. They don't like somebody who will read through it, and it goes both ways, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times. But when you see the ones who hunger for character, and they want to be the best, they appreciate this. Are you getting me? And they learn from it. I'm not saying the man is being difficult. I'm saying the man is being thorough. And in doing that, you teach that younger person that everything matters. The guy looks at it from the sentence length to where your comma is, to your paragraphing, to the tone, whether it's active or it's passive. To train is not an easy thing. But you see, if you have learned much, then you will have much to give. And when these younger ones who are green come, much of their writing will be empty in terms of content. So it will take a while to raise it to a standard that you are happy with. And that will help them. When the time is ripe, and I'm going to emphasize this, they set their mentees free. A good mentor sets his mentees free. Look, it gets to a point when this, let's face it now, is that, I want you to lose, sir. Your first child is married, right? Yes. There was a way you used to, is he a girl or a boy? I'm not too sure now. Is a boy. I know how you should talk to him when he was in your house. Is that how you should talk to him now? I have a son at 23. As he got older, the way we talk changed. Before, it's instructions. Are you getting my point? Now we discuss. I say, would you consider? Why? The same thing. As your mentee grows, I don't know. If you flog your children, I flog my kids. Sorry, I know some of you don't like it, but I flog them. I flog my kids. Why are you doing your hand like this? Are they your kids? All right. My kids, I flog them. I don't flog them out of anger. Are you getting my point? I flog them to discipline them. I don't do it when I'm angry. They know why I'm flogging them. At the end, we discuss why they were flogged. So that's it. So now they are older. I remind them of those things. I say, do you know why I flogged you? Say, yes, I misbehaved. This is what I did. And all that. Anyway, where I'm going is that it is wrong to treat your mentee in the first year of knowing him the same way in the 5th year of knowing him, same way in the 10th year of knowing him, same way. That's wrong. I'm the one that gave birth to him. So a good mentor, when the time is ripe, sets his mentee free, accepting them as peers and delights in their accomplishment. They are not afraid of being outshined by their mentees, but they work towards producing professionals that are better than themselves. If those that I produce are not better than me, then I didn't do my work well. Didn't do my work well. So these two witnesses conclude that the hallmark of great mentors is their willingness to gracefully detach themselves from claiming credit for their mentees' achievements while continuing to encourage growth in their careers. So 30 years after, is it Peter? If not for me, would he have achieved anything? He was a boy when I picked him up. That's area boy mentality. That's not being a mentor. Peter will acknowledge you. Are you getting my point? He will. When it matters most, he will say, "Man, thank God for this man." Every chance he has, he will acknowledge you. If he doesn't acknowledge you, something is wrong with him. Are you getting me? Something is wrong with him. But a good mentee that has learned from you, that appreciates you, will not forget you. So we're rounding up now. The bad mentor is selfish with his time and resources. I hope there's no bad mentor here. If there is, I bind the spirit of bad mentorship and I cast it down. A bad mentor wins all the glory. Cannot bear to see the mentee shine. I've even seen bad mentors who envy their proteges. They envy them. How can you envy somebody you raised? It's like a father being envious of the son. He or she exploits the mentee as a technician And on there, encourage growth and development. A bad mentor is domineering and tries to make the mentee into the image of his or her choosing. That image is so that they can be continue to be useful to them. A bad mentor does not nurture individuality and independence. Let me just call on these three persons to help strengthen our discussion, and then we conclude. The delicate balance, this is Steven Spielberg. The delicate balance of mentoring someone is not creating them in your own image, but giving them the opportunity to create themselves. So, my interest in maternal-fetal medicine, he mustn't be into maternal-fetal medicine. I should help him to get to a point where he can identify his area of interest and encourage him along the line to become, you know, it was Elisha who prayed that the servant's eyes should be opened. And when the man saw carrots of fire, he said, my God, all along they were there, he didn't see them. So a mentor helps you to see things you don't really know. They are there, but you don't recognize them. He trains you to a point where you can see clearly. And Emerson says that our chief want in life is someone who shall make us do what we can. Look, we are human beings. We long for somebody who will help us, who will love us for who we are, who will encourage us selflessly and help us to achieve our objectives. That person we are ever eternally grateful to. So is mentoring a dynamic act. Increasingly, postgraduate medical residents and students complain that their trainers are rarely available for them. And we're not surprised at this, because the poor economic conditions put pressure on both mentors and mentees to be busier outside work to make ends meet. Look, if you buy fuel at 6, how much is it in Ibadan? 5, okay, I've not hit 600 in Ibadan yet. Okay. I bought fuel at 591 in Benin before I left. 591. I had to fill my tank, my wife's tank, and the other tank that the kids use. When I go to live, I don't see anybody happy in the filling station now. Everybody is angry. Say, put 10,000. Put it. Everybody's angry. The Japa syndrome makes long-term commitments difficult. So I tell my residents, look, I'm on your side, I'm on your side. Look, tell me if you are leaving. Let me not be wasting time planning, making a 6-month plan for you when you are leaving next week. Tell me, if you don't tell I won't tell the management, tell me if your visa is true. Because that's what happened. We just come to work and they are gone. The ones who are close to you will tell you they are leaving. The other ones won't tell you. In fact, somebody in my unit just took off and I was very angry. You know, it was from Canada, he sent me a text that, sorry, sir. Japa syndrome makes long-term commitments difficult or seem unfashionable. So when I'm not sure of who is going to stay, why should I be investing my time? You know, and that is it. It can be a terrible thing. Widespread ignorance of the place of mentorship in many potential mentors and mentees also contributory. But the situation can be remedied with better enlightenment and commitment on all sides. So as I conclude, the act of mentorship, though tasking, holds the prospect of immense rewards with time. Nothing is more fulfilling. When I see the seniors, I'm sure if Oga Jembede and Oga Otolorin and Oga Ladipo sit down, just 3 or 4 of them, before you know it, they will discuss their children. Abi? Say, how is your friend? You mentioned it because they grew up, that's what they discuss. When you get to this stage, it's your children's success that's your success. Abi, sir? If your children, if you, God forbid, don't your portion, sir. If, God forbid, that one of them had a children in prison, he won't mention it too. He won't say, that guy is in prison now. They don't mention it. The one in the US you mentioned, the one in the UK you mentioned, the one in France you mentioned. You don't mention the one that holds the prospect of immense rewards with time. Nothing, and I consider it so, nothing is more fulfilling and rewarding as reproducing yourselves in others and producing successors who are better than us before we step aside. So I'm going to end by wishing my chairman that your days be long. So so that you will enjoy the fruits of your labor. Thank you for listening.
Can we please sit down? We have no doubt and we can see why the choice of the speaker for this 70th birthday and valedictory program was there was no discussion when Professor Arowojolu nominated him to give this talk. I would like to call on Professor Akinka Omigbodu, past President of the West African College of Surgeons, past Provost, past Head of Department, to please present this plaque to our guest speaker, Professor Peter Ibegwe.
Let me start by acknowledging the chairman of today's occasion, Professor Babatunde Adelusi, who took me into the residency program in Obstetrics and Gynaecology. And then to congratulate my brother and friend, Ayodele Arowojolu. Although he was my senior in medical school, we started residency together. And we walked that journey together. I learned a lot from him. And he was a strong support as we were going to Lagos for those exams and so on and so forth. So thank you very much for those wonderful years. And I thank your lovely wife for being such a strong support to you. And I want to congratulate you from the bottom of my heart as you celebrate your Platinum Jubilee. And now to present the plaque. He will be the second gynecologist to occupy that position. And I know without a doubt that it's going to make a positive difference. So thank you very much for coming to come and do this honor. And we really appreciate you. The topic, the way you've handled this topic, I'm sure it's brought mentorship alive to everybody who has been in this audience. And so we thank you very, very much. It's my pleasure, on behalf of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, of the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan, and the University College Hospital Ibadan, to present this plaque to you in appreciation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So now we know the difference between mentor, oga, boss, and what's the other one? I won't say it. So we're going to have a little bit of an interlude now. I think we're ready for that, where we're going to show some messages from some people who are not here, and then show a little bit of the past. Co-chairman. Okay, I think they're not quite ready, so let's go to the Goodwill messages. Just a few.
Resident of the University College Hospital Ibadan, would like to congratulate my teacher and teacher of teachers, Professor Ayodele Arowojolu, on this great occasion of his 70th birthday and retirement from the University of Ibadan. I want to say, sir, the retirement, you're retiring, but you're not yet tired. We still need you more for mentorship, and you've always been a practical obstetrician and gynecologist who's always been there. He's approachable, and he's always ready to impart his knowledge on fellow residents and consultants. Professor Arowojolu was always available, very approachable, and you could always tell him the way things were, even when you had a very difficult situation on the ward, irrespective of whether you were the FRU unit or not. And I want to say that as you're marking this valedictory lecture today, God Almighty will grant you many more prosperous years in sound health. Happy birthday, sir. Wishing you many more prosperous.
Good day all, I'm Dr. Aloyede MNI. It's a privilege for me to join in celebrating Professor Arowojolu on this auspicious occasion. Unfortunately, I'm out of the country at the moment and unable to be physically present. I would like to place it on record that Prof was instrumental in the quest for the Mother and Child Hospital Ondo to be the state's first accredited tertiary institution in postgraduate training in ONG by the National Postgraduate College way back in 2015. Since then, he has not only been my teacher and mentor, he has shown himself to be a reliable, dependable, and considerate at critical points in my career. I will forever be grateful to God for allowing our paths to cross. It was an answer to a prayer that I'm now proud to call him my Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Governing Council of UNIMED. Sir, as you mark this milestone age, I pray the Almighty God shall continue to shower his blessings upon you, Auntie, and the children. Happy birthday, Prof. Good day all, I am Dr.
So can go ahead and take a few goodwill messages as we round up. I'd like to call now on the Vice Chancellor of the Ondo State University of Medical Sciences, Ondo, Professor Adesegun Fatusi, for his goodwill message.
The chairman of this occasion, Professor Olatunji Arowojolu, the Vice Chancellor in absentia, our joint host, the Provost of the College of Medicine, my sister and friend, Professor Olatunji Arowojolu, and the first gentleman of the college, I must mention, once I mention her, I must mention the first gentleman of the college, Professor Olatunji Arowojolu, and the Chief Medical Director, ably represented there. The celebrant of this great occasion, our chairman of our University Council, Professor Ayodele Olatunji Arowojolu, and his amiable wife, Professor Arowojolu, the guest lecturer. Thank you for a great job. Our great and wonderful medical elders in the house, I wish I could have the time to mention everyone. My great and wonderful friends, not a lot of them in the audience, and great colleagues. My Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Samuel is here. Our registrar is also here, Dr. Goodwill. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, kindly permit me to adopt the protocol that has been well laid down by my friend and co-IFE alumnus, Michael Okola, and of course, the Provost has done a wonderful job in introducing and laying down the protocol. However, on this day when we are talking about mentorship and mentors, permit me to quickly acknowledge some of those who have been my own mentors, who are here and who have been great encouragers in my journey in the academia. I like to just recognize and thank you, sir, Emeritus Professor Oluwole Akonde, one-time chairman of our teaching hospital in Ife when I was the provost. Professor Oladapo is here. He's also the president of society, the chairman of the BOT of Society for Adolescent and Young People's Health in Nigeria, which I am privileged to be the president. I have Professor Oladosho here, a very great senior friend who are co-partners in our GACE partnership project those days. Professor Isaac Adewale is here, a great mentor and somebody who have had to interact with many times. Professor Ladipo Otolori is also here. I want to pay my great respect to you all. Thank you for your mentorship, and what we are today is because you have taken the time to mentor us, and to lay down a path that we can greatly follow. On behalf of our university, the University of Medical Sciences, Ondo, by the way, our name is not Ondo State University of Medical Sciences. Our name is simply the University of Medical Sciences, Ondo, UNIMED. Proudly, Nigeria's first specialized medical and health sciences university, we want to congratulate our Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Council, Professor Ayodele Arowojolu, on this auspicious occasion of his 70th birthday and retirement from the University of Ibadan. We are proud, sir, of your achievement, and today testifies to who you are and what you have been able to accomplish in this university over the last decade plus. In the last couple of months that we have had the privilege of you leading the council, clearly your experience in academia shows in the discussion that goes on in the room, in the various strategic issues that we have had to consider. It truly shows that you're a man who is deeply knowledgeable of the academic culture and deeply in tune with what university must be in the 21st century. So we are so proud of you, sir. In this last month, we have had to share you with the University of Ibadan. We are glad that that's over. We don't need to share you again. We owe you fully and totally now. Provost, yes, we owe him fully and totally now. And so we are glad that while you have been available to us, you have always been available, but now we know you'll be available even much, much, much more. We are proud of our history as a university that was founded on the platform of leadership provided by Emeritus Professor Oladipo Olujimi Akinkugbe, a great product of Ibadan and a great past teacher of Ibadan. We are so excited that in this second quinquennium of our university, we have the privilege of being led again by another great Ibadan product and a great past teacher of Ibadan. And so the best is yet to come in our history. And therefore, on behalf of our University Senate, our management, and our entire university community, I again congratulate you, sir, and ma, on this occasion. I wish you continued good health, God's grace, and welcome to a new season of dedicated and impactful service to God and mankind. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Vice Chancellor. I want to recognize Dr. Tony Mario. Can we give him a round of applause? Please start. He's hiding somewhere at the back. Thank you. So we're going to get a tribute now, a goodwill message from National Postgraduate Medical College. I'll call on the chairman of the Faculty of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, Professor Deji Oluwale, who's also the CMAC of the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital.
Chairman, sir, I won't call you a teacher, sir. You're a grandfather teacher, sir. For people like us, sir. First Provost of the College of Medicine, University of Lagos. Good afternoon, sir. I call Professor Ojolu my Oga, sir. And my lovely auntie. Good afternoon, sir. My VP, my VP too. Madam Provost, ma'am. On behalf of the National College Postgraduate Medical of Nigeria, Faculty of O&G, I bring great felicitations to you, sir. I'm sure you were surprised to see myself and the secretary, Professor Omera. He flew from Abakaliki yesterday. And we said we must be here to honor you for what you have done for the faculty. And we left Lagos at 6 a.m. People say, why? I said, no. If it's for Professor Arowojolu, we will come, we'll take this chance and the stress, because we need to be here. I'll tell two stories. I didn't train in Ibadan. I trained in Lagos. But I've decided to absorb the qualities of two trainers from Ibadan. One is Professor Adeleye. You may not remember, sir. Professor Adeleye, sir. Professor Adeleye, Professor Ladipo and Professor Adeleye. When I was going to do my part 2 in Lagos Teaching Hospital then, those days you don't know who your examiners were. And we were very few, we were like 10 for the part 2. I walked into a room and I saw Professor Adeleye and Professor Ladipo. You took my part 2, sir. And the one thing that struck me about you was while all the gas was going on, Professor Adeleye just kept quiet and was smiling at me. So while I was looking at him, I knew that I cannot fail. He just kept smiling at me, and I said, okay, fine. That's a good way to mentor somebody. So I've imbibed that habit, sir. When I examine now, I just smile at candidates and I look at them, just to give them that extra confidence. I also learned a lesson from another person from Ibadan here, your husband, man, Professor Omigbodun. He took my part 2 in West Africa, and he taught me a great lesson, which I've also taught my mentees coming behind me. Sleep well before your exam. Don't stress yourself before your exam. I don't know whether you still remember, sir, from my part 2 West Africa, sir. I was talking, he asked me a very simple question, and I had a brain block. And he said, I know you know it, but you cannot remember. I said, I cannot, okay. You come back and tell me that same thing in 6 months' time. And I wasn't even angry because I myself, I knew that I should have remembered. But the lesson there is that afterwards, when I was coming back in 6 months' time, I slept very well. You know, those days you'll be drinking coffee, chewing cola nut because you want to read. So I tell my residents, don't stress yourself. You have been working hard. Sleep well. And you can answer questions again. So thank you for that great lesson which I've learned, sir. So that's mentoring. Then, my VP, what can I say? It's a funny thing. We have a tradition in the National College. Professor Arowojolu was chairman. I was faculty member. The current VP was the secretary then. The current VP became the chairman. After learning from Professor Arowojolu, I became his secretary. Now we pushed him forward to go and become the VP. I am now the chairman, and I'm pulling Umer along as secretary. So it's mentorship. I can see where it started from. So we thank you very much, sir. I will know that, well, University of Medical Science Ondo can take you away, but you can't take him away from the National College. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Oluwole. I don't know if we have a Goodwill message from the West African College of Surgeons. Anybody here? President? Okay, maybe the past president can take this briefly, if you don't mind. Professor Omigbodun. I know you've said a lot already, a few things already.
Well, this gives me an opportunity to do some of the things I ought to have done when I came up on the days earlier. Again, I must acknowledge the chair and the celebrant and the guest lecturer, and to acknowledge the foundation provost, the current provost, and the deputy provost, the representative of the CMD, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Medical Sciences, and my head of department. And I want to extend special gratitude to my teachers and mentors that came to grace this occasion. I will not mention names, but many of them are seated on the front row here, and without your input into our careers, we would not be where we are today. I was privileged to be president of the West African College of Surgeons about 8 years ago. And so I'm glad to be here to stand in for our current president, Professor Emmanuel Ezeome, who is of the Faculty of Surgery. The college is immensely happy to felicitate with a very important fellow of our college, Professor Arowojolu, fellow in the Faculty of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, who has contributed immensely to the college over the years in terms of training our residents and also participating in our examinations and accreditation processes. I'm sure the president would very much want to extend his congratulations to you on behalf of Council and all the fellows of the West African College of Surgeons, and wish you all the best as you move on to this next stage of your life. We expect that you will continue to remain active in the West African College of Surgeons. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. A brief good message from the Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria, UCH branch, MD Khan. I don't know if our chairman is here. Nobody? Okay, our chairman is here, please. Please come over, man.
Chairman of the occasion, the celebrant and his beautiful wife. All protocols duly observed. I don't want to mention there are so many fathers, mothers, aunties, and teachers there, mentors. So I wouldn't want to mention any name so that I don't offend anybody. And our esteemed teachers and mentors, aunties on the high table. On behalf of the Medical and Dental Consultants Association of UCH, I want to celebrate and rejoice with our member who is retiring as well as having his birthday today. It's a delight to come to rejoice with him. He has been a consistent member who a consistent elder who attends our meeting regularly. He does not just attend the meeting, he contributes, he helps to guide, and also helps to make important decisions which has helped us in the association to be able to make headway in many issues. And he is a regular attendee of the MDCAN Lounge, where he comes around and socially interact. Those attendants at the MDCAN Lounge actually encourages some of us and the junior ones, where we're able to discuss things outside the profession and helps. And you know, life is not just about just medicine, work. We have other social lives. So with that interaction coming to the lounge, we're able to discuss things that are outside medicine, and with that we're able to get guidance as to how to make some work-life balance. So we really appreciate your participation and your contribution to the Medical and Dental Consultants Association of UCH. So now, and we also know that there was, when we had a BDM, you were one of those significant people who contributed 2 years ago. So we want to congratulate you and say that even as you are retiring from the service of University College Hospital and College of Medicine, that we wish you the best. And we know that certainly you have been a good mentor for this topic to be chosen on your valedictory and on your birthday. Because if I'm not, most people during the valedictory lecture and the birthday, they choose topics within their profession. But this, you took a topic which can address every sphere of life. That will have shown that you are really a good mentor in your department. So, and you are not just a good mentor in your department to your postgraduate students, but also nationally. That's why the National Postgraduate College can also come to represent you and talk to you, to talk to us about. And we can also, by you attending our meetings also, it's a way of mentoring us, the junior ones, because we need the wisdom of the elders in our association to be able to take decisions that doesn't make us look immature. So we celebrate you And we know that even as you are retiring, you will still be available for us to call once in a while, even though you won't attend our meeting. But if there's any issue, we can call you and ask for advice, because you know you have always participated in the meeting. You knew how the association is being run. So thank you very much, and we wish you the best as you go forward into the next phase of life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fashola. That's Chairman, MD Khan, Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria. We're rounding up. We're going to now take the mentees of the celebrants. I was told a few seconds ago that I'll be the one to do it. I don't know why. But there are some other mentees of the celebrants here. Please, can you please stand up if you know you're one of the people that Professor Arowojolu mentored. You can see we are many of us that are here. Standing on existing protocols, maybe because I first took the... Thank you very much. Can we sit down? So standing on existing protocols, so I don't have to say who is on the high table, since I'm coordinating as the MC. Before I make a short goodwill message to Professor Arowojolu, who I call my father of ONG, because he did so much for me and continues to do so much for me. I'd like to acknowledge 4 people here before I go on. The first person who changed my life from being an architect to being a medical student in the first place, and later to go on to become a professor of obstetrics and gynecology, Professor Ogunbode. Please, I would like to acknowledge you. He, together and 2 other gentlemen, locked me up in a room and convinced me why I should drop the thought of being an architect to become a doctor. Thank you very much, sir. The other person I want to acknowledge before I continue is Professor Oladipo, who continues to be my guide in everything I do as I go on in my career. Thank you very much, sir. Professor Olaemi, my boss, thank you very much for being a good mentor to me. And the man we are celebrating, Professor Arowojolu, I don't know how to describe him, but I'll say he's my hero. Because anytime my head is unstable, he's the person that cools me down, calms me down. I remember when I was going through very, very tough times in my career, he would come, call me, talk to me. He taught me all the surgical skills I know, together with Professor Olaemi, of course. When I worked in Oluro, and he told me when I first started that, don't worry, you will learn all the surgeries you want to learn. And he did that for me. In my presence, Professor Arowojolu has killed 2 snakes. One in my house, I don't know if you remember, with his leg. So that's why I call him my hero. Somebody shouted in my house, snake, 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 snake. And Professor Arowojolu, who we call, what do we call him? What is the name we call Professor Arowojolu? I didn't say it all. Came to the rescue of everybody in our house. When we were all ran away, he came and looked for the snake and killed the snake. I don't think he remembers, but that's the truth. And then, of course, once we were at an accreditation somewhere, I think it was in Ilorin, a snake appeared on the corridor, and himself and somebody else killed the snake. So he's a hero. He's a pathfinder. He showed me every town in this country via accreditation. He took me to Sokoto, took me to Jos, took me to you're here now. We know we used to follow him that time. There was nowhere we didn't go to. There was a time we entered Jos at 1 a.m. in the night. And somebody said, well, we took a taxi. We missed our flight, and we entered there. So he's taking me everywhere, Katsina, everywhere. He took me along. He's a great person. It's sad that you're leaving the department because you are a source of joy for everybody and a peacemaker when things go wrong. Together with your wonderful wife, I thank you all, both of you, for being such a wonderful guide to us Even we as mentees, we always go to you when we have issues, whether it's exam or surgical things or anything. We thank you very much for being there for us. Thank you very much, sir. I think before we cut the cake, I think we're going to show a short video, the last one we missed. Is that possible? Before we go on to the presentation by the department.
He's also a very good and amiable personality. He's very social. I hardly see him get angry. I cannot recall in my number of years, over 15 years of knowing him, that he got angry at any instance. He's a very calm person, easygoing and highly reputable and respected. He's a leader by excellence. That shows in his administrative acumen. He was one time the head of department. He had served as the secretary of the Faculty of Obstetrics and Gynaecology. He was also a chairman at the time. So that shows you how much people have confidence in him. So I have no hesitation whatsoever making this brief talk about him. And I pray that now that he's going into his retirement, that may make good Lord Almighty give him the required strength, peace of mind, and good health to enjoy his retirement. And I know he's not retiring because he's coming back as an emeritus professor. Join me as I congratulate my Oga at the top, Professor Ayodele Olatunji, on happy retirement and 70th birthday celebration. Thank you.
Good day all.
Okay, there was supposed to be a video, but okay. So I now call on the provost of the College of Medicine, Professor Olayinka Omigbojun, who wants to make a presentation to Professor Ayodele Arowojolu.
Thank you. Deputy Provost, can I invite you? And other members of management, the financial controller has left. Okay. Sir and Ma, please come. And I'm told 2 of your sons are here. Please let them come and join. And the children and grandchildren, come and let's, okay, yes. I'm just seeing all our members of ESCO. I know. I was going to give you query. The deputy, the provost is here. We have the secretary to the college. That's Mr. Ayodele, a relatively brand new secretary to the college. He's doing some things. And I'd already mentioned you. Were you here when I mentioned you? You were here. I'm the dean of dentistry, Professor Bamidele Kolude, and we also have the Dean of Faculty of Clinical Sciences, Professor Temidayo Ogundinro. So we have a full complement of the ESCO. So I'm now going to also, and we have our wonderful Okwe, and that's Mr. Arowojolu, the 2 sons, right? Engineer Arowojolu and yeah, barrister. I think I knew when you were born. Yes, nice to see you. God bless you. So I'm going to ask the Deputy Provost to do the plaque presentation first. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my Provost, the Chairman of the occasion, our very distinguished Professor Babatunde Adelusi, and our Father Emeritus Professor Oluwole Akande. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are very, very delighted to be here as an executive committee of the college to rejoice with our very distinguished Professor of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, Professor Arowojolu. And of course, we know that we still have Professor Mrs. Arowojolu with us, so we are so happy. And of course, we know Professor Arowojolu himself is not going to leave us. We are going to be having him all the time. And especially because he's going to transit into the living legends group from today. So, and we interact with our living legends at all times. So we are very comfortable with that. So on behalf of the College of Medicine Management, I will present this plaque to you in appreciation of your support to the college, and in training of our students, and of course, even in training of the residents and all that at the University College Hospital. So, hearty congratulations, Professor Ayodele Olatunji Arowojolu, on your 70th birthday and formal retirement from the service of the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan. We are profoundly grateful to you and wish you abundant happiness in this new season of your life. I present on behalf of Olayinka Omibodun, Professor of Psychiatry and Provost, College of Medicine, University of Ibadan.
And I'm actually going to invite Emeritus Professor Oluwole Akonde to join me to robe and welcome our newest living legend.
Thank you very much, Madam Provost. I think probably I'm the oldest here. Living legend. Maybe more, maybe there are others who are older than me. Professor Ogunbode is probably older. Yeah, but they are not very. So it is a great pleasure indeed to welcome Professor Ayodele Arowojolu into the College of Medicine Living Legends Group.
So we'll just join the family for a group photograph. Come on. And the grandchildren in front. Come and stay with. Grandpa is a living legend. Living legend. Okay. Congratulations. We celebrate you today. God bless you. Yes.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Sorry, the children and the living legend, can you please stay a little bit as we continue with the gifts? Just for a minute, grandchildren, auntie. I would like to call now the head of the department, Professor Kunola, to give the gift from the Department of Obstetrics and Gynaecology. Professor Kunola, please. Come now. He's shy.
All right, thank you. Once again, I'm here, sir. Good to see you. Professor Arowojolu, I'm one of his mentees, and I say In fact, since I came to UCH, I think we've been in the same unit almost all the time. So I've learned a lot from you, sir. Very nice man. And one thing people have not said today is that he's always smiling. I wonder, do you ever frown? It makes, for the first time person, it exudes a mien of friendship. Some people say he never gets angry. But for some of us who do it very well, even when he gets angry, he's quick to forgive you. And with a brotherly, give you a brotherly advice, you know, and it will disarm you immediately, smiling again. He's smiling right now. Sir, we're going to really miss you in the department. If for nothing else, the mentorship and that wonderful smile. On behalf of the staff, students, well, when I say staff, teaching and non-teaching, doctors and nurses, administrative staff, students of the Department of Obs and Gynae, and on behalf of the many thousands of women that you have assisted. Yes, and I mean they are in their thousands. You call on Professor Arowojolu any time of the night, is comfortable, as long as you get him to the hospital. But once he gets there, he will assist all, as long as you want him to be in labor ward or in gynae theater, he's there. So thousands of women that we assisted with delivery, with surgeries, with their reproductive health. We say congratulations on this, as we give you this meritorious service award. Happy 70th birthday and happy retirement. You are retiring in strength. You shall not retire to sickness. You continue to grow from strength to strength. Sir, please don't forget the Department of ORG. We are going to call to you from time to time, and I am sure you will accede to our request. Thank you very much, sir, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd now like to call on Dr. Olufemi Adesanya, Director of Medical Services of your state, who is going to present a gift on behalf of the mentees of the Celebrant. Dr. Adesanya, please. The mentees of the Celebrant, get ready, we'll take a picture.
Come and join me, sing hallelujah. Ah, Jehovah Jireh has done me well. Come and join me, oh, come and join me, sing hallelujah. Ah, hallelujah, oh, Jehovah Jireh has done me. Oh, one more time, come and join, sing hallelujah. Hallelujah, Jehovah Jireh has done me well. Hallelujah, oh, come and join me, sing hallelujah. Hallelujah, Jehovah Jireh has done me well. That says it all. You know, I have to be very careful. Seated here are my grandfathers in OBGYN. So, I don't want to resume labor ward after now. So, I dare not waste their time. Well, among the mentees, just over almost 40 of us, just put us together just to appreciate Professor Arowojolu. When I came into residency, it's been very, very tough. I won't make mention of Professor Ilesomi until during the Central in December, because these people have played major staggering role in our life. Professor Migwadu is smiling. I'm not going to talk about you now, sir, until then. Now, so on behalf of the mentees, we have just put our heads together to say something very little in appreciation. We cannot, and we will not try to convey through this all you've done. The TH I learned from you, all those hysterectomy, we can't pay it back through this. Professor Aimaku said he learned so many of the surgery. So on behalf of the main team, we say a big thank you to you, Professor Mommy, God bless you. Ora is not here, convey our love to him. We say thank you very much, just our little token. Yes, sir.
Can we join him up, and the families take pictures? Mentees of Professor Arowojolu, please come on board. Dr. Ifemeji, you are somewhere here. Where are you? Dr. Ifemeji. Professor Onikoko, where are you? Dr. Fadikbe. Thank you very much. So we go on to cutting of the cake, but before that, can we all sit down? We're going to cut the cake now. I'm going to call on Dr. Mrs. Stella Akinso, consultant at the Nigerian Urban Reproductive Health Initiative, to coordinate the cutting of the cake. Then if you have gifts, if you have money, cash, you can come and give that to me. Then I'll pass it to Professor Arowojolu. If you have gifts, you can drop them with Professor Dr. Ogunbode here, or drop them here. And if you have other things, so you can bring them. Cutting of the cake, please. Sir. While that is going on, I would like to please recognize the Dean of the Clinical Sciences, Professor Gundir. I don't know why I missed you. Please apologize for that. Professor Gundiro, I think this camera was blocking my view, so I missed you. And the Dean of Dentistry, Professor Kolude, is also here. Then all nurses, please can you all stand up for recognition, please? All nurses, UCH, anywhere. If you know you're a nurse, just a minute. Okay. Okay.
This chairman of the occasion, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to especially recognize Professor Oladipo, my former boss, and also some of my colleagues that are here, the pink ladies that are here. I'm so delighted to be here. I don't want to, Professor Arowojolu. We are from the same place though, same village. And Professor Arowojolu is a friend to my husband, and a former boss at that. When I was at the Fertility Research Unit, we did quite a number of researches together. And like everyone said, always willing to help. I think in this might, that is where you go and God will help you. So if you put your hand on the cake, we'll just spell the name Jesus. I want to commit him and his entire family into the hand of the Lord Jesus Christ, the Alpha and the Omega, the one that is able to see you through. As you retire, you will not retire unto death. You will not retire unto sickness. You will not retire unto any disease or stamina in the mighty name of Jesus. So we're going to spell the name of Jesus. And as we spell, at the end, we'll have the cake cut. Give me a joyful J. Give me an exhilarating E. Give me a supersonic S. An unbeatable U. And a super S. And what is that? Jesus. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you and your family. Shall we please rise up to sing the happy birthday song for him? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord, may the good Lord, may the good Lord bless you. For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us, and so say all of us, and so say all of us. For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us. You are a plant by the rivers of water. You will bring your fruits in and out of the season. Your going out is blessed. Your coming in is blessed. You will not experience any dryness in this new dispensation in the mighty name of Jesus. Congratulations.
As we round up, Ayodele Maternity have a gift for Professor Arowojolu. Please, can I quickly do that? We're going to round up in the next 5 minutes. I think we should wait for the response by our celebrant before we go. And that's the next thing. Let's listen to what he has to say. Thank you.
Yes, sir. On behalf of Ayodele Maternity Hospital, the OHG team, we are congratulating our Professor Ayodele Arowojolu for his mentorship and leadership. He has really pulled us up when we thought there was no way to go on. He made the impossible possible. We really give him a lot of kudos. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, everybody. It's been wonderful. At this point, let's listen to the man that we're here to celebrate, 70th birthday and his retirement. So a response by Professor Ayodele Arowojolu. Ogasa.
I have vision, oh I believe. I know I can count on me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up.
I would like to appreciate my teachers, the Provost, College of Medicine, Deputy Provost, the Vice Chancellor, who unavoidably is not here, unavoidably not here, and the CMD that was represented by Cordially, my head of department. Sir, good afternoon, sir. Professor Akonde, thank you very much, the first provost. I never had the opportunity of working directly with Professor Akonde because when I joined, he was the dean and CMD. I never saw him in the department. The time I ever saw him was at WHO when I was there for a training that I related to him, and again at FHI when he came to see me. So thanks, I appreciate what you have done for the department and me, because I've heard a lot about you, sir. Thank you, sir. I want to start on existing protocol, but I cannot do without mentioning some of my colleagues, my orgas, my trainers. Professor Ogunbode, my father, a GCI old boy who took me like a child. He's nurtured me right from the time I got the department, and he saw me as a government college old boy. He's always nurtured me. Professor Ladipo, my mentor. My pile driver, Professor Ladipo, will show you the way and push you forward. He has nurtured me throughout my life. Professor Otolori, he's done wonderful things in my life. He supervised my part 2 project. Even he gave me 2,000 naira to carry out the project from his own grants. At that time, the salary of professor was 8,000 naira. The most senior professor. He gave me 2,000 naira to carry out my project. I thank you very much, sir. I will never forget you. And he nurtured me. And when I went for the exams, Professor Tukudebelu from the East, who was meant to be the toughest examiner, examined me. And when I was leaving, he said, this boy made me proud that I finished from University of Ibadan. So, thank you very much, sir. Professor Ojengbede, we fight and reconcile and things like that. Because when I was reading his memoirs, I realized that we came from the same background. And when I'm telling you about that background, you will understand. He taught me everything in Gynaecology, VVF, everything. He taught me, and he has always supported me. I will tell you the last thing he did for me that really got me excited. He called me one day and said, Ayo, go and start processing your retirement because it might take 3 years if you don't do it before you leave. I thank you very much, sir. Now, Professor, I know he's not here, but his wife is here. And Oshinusi is someone that gave me the opportunity to start Obs and Gynae. When I was in school, when I finished my anesthesia in 1981, when I was in school, I wanted to be a private practitioner, just go and make money. So I just wanted to spend 1 year in anesthesia and go back to private practice. But during the time, I got caught by people like Professor Aimaku, Aimaku, who were always good, and Oshin, and Mario, Otolori. They were always vibrant senior lecturers. So, and I decided to join Obs and Gynae. When I went to Professor Aimaku, who was the then head of the department, and I told him I would like to join the department. He said, Ayo, I'm leaving the department in the next 2 weeks. The only thing that I can get you is to go and do primary examination. And he brought the form out of his drawer and signed a portion and gave it to me. To me, it was a challenge to go and do primaries. That was in 1981. So I was looking for someone who would refuse to sign. so that I can say, nobody signed for me, sir. So I went to Professor Oshinusi, and I said, sir, I'm interested in joining O&G. And I was told that I have to do primaries. And he said, okay. I said, sir, can you sign the form for me? And he signed it. I was depressed. I was very sad. I think he must recognize my depression. So he said, Ayo, I'm sure you will pass that exams. Go for it. And that was that. And I went for the exams and passed. First attempt. So I'm grateful. And he has nurtured me. He taught me all my surgeries and things like that. He's the consultant to my wife. So he's been there for me all along. Excuse me. Thank you very much. Let me thank him. It's someone I really cherish very, very much. Now, I will just tell you some few things about my life and upbringing so that people can share my experience. I give thanks to God because it is God that made it possible for me to be here. Before I go into that, don't let me forget, Professor Adelusi, I brought him here today because he was the one that admitted me into Obs and Gynae. When I went to him that I wanted to join, because I've stayed for 3 years, waiting to be employed. The Shagari government then blocked all employment. So when I got to him, he said, Ayo, if they give me chances of taking 3 people, I will take you. He said, because I already have Biodu Ilesomi that I sent to Oluyoro, who was a supernumerary, he has advised him to go to Oluyoro, on my list. I have Odukoya on my list, and they are both at Oluyoro. They are going to do their part 1. So they give me a chance to take 3 people. I will take you. I was sad because I've passed my exams. So on one day I just went to him and said, just keep praying. After some time I saw my name in the list that he has accepted me. So I thank you very much, sir, because you made it possible for me to be a gynecologist. If you didn't take me then, I'll probably run to London. If I already got appointment in London to be an anesthetist. But I wanted to be a gynecologist. Thank you very much, sir. Now, I need to let you know about my life. I give gratitude to God because it was God that brought me to this stage of my life. That's why I can always sing, we thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for everything you have done for me. Why did I do this? I was born by a mother, a 21-year-old mother, alone in a house. She delivered me, alone. So I must have had some degree of cerebral asphyxia. Because I didn't work for 3 years. And they thought I was crippled. My brother that was born after me, I'm 1.5 years older than him, started working before I started working. So one day, I just got up and tiptoed. I didn't crawl at all. This is a story told me by my mom. And I started working, and I didn't stop working since then. And I've never stopped working since then. So that was God's doing. Another thing about my God's doing that I'm grateful to God is that when I was about 1 year old, myself and my sister were very, very ill. I think we must have had measles or something. These are stories told me by my mom. And they thought we were dead. So they dug trenches and wrapped us up. But a person whose first son was going to die clinged onto me and started crying. And her tears fell on my lips. And I licked it. God made one older person to see my lip moved. And they said, it's alive. They gave me pap. And I took it. My sister was already wrapped. Was open and I gave her pap and she took it. That's how we survived. My sister today, she's there. Biodu Sabe, please get up. Tell them, you are alive today because of God. God did it for you. She's a senior matron at Johns Hopkins University. She retired from Johns Hopkins University. So God has been wonderful to me because I would have been buried alive. How many children were buried alive at that time? So these are things that made me sing thanks to God. When I finished, I got into secondary school. In my primary 2, I had a spiral fracture of my right femur. When I was attempting to carry something that was heavier than me, I fell backward. So they put me on gallows spring. Gallows spring here in UCH, 1960. I was there. It was during our Easter holidays. So they put pillow on my butt, and my legs were hung up. And they sent us home. After 6 weeks, during the time I was at home, I was soiling the pillow. So my daddy removed the pillow, not knowing that my buttock would sink down where the legs was up. And when we came back 6 weeks, there was non-union of the bones. So the doctors were concerned. They said, oh, okay, they were telling told my mom, we will put pillow again and put it up. They did everything. So there was one Dr. Priestman. I still remember his name. He was a worker here. He was driving me in his mini mock with a carrier with the gallows. He would take me home and bring me back. After 4 weeks, they looked at it. There was still non-union. And they were counseling my mom. She didn't tell me this story. She was just telling it to my father, and I was listening because I was good enough to know. I was old enough to know what she was saying. That they were going to probably open and remove the chip of the bone and join them together. But I will have to be using one high heel shoes on one leg, on my right leg. So when they told my mom said, okay, he was telling my dad and sister that they were unhappy. Me, I didn't know anything. I just kept quiet. It is not that I'm a doctor that I know the implication of that. So, after 2 weeks, they brought me because one of the senior colleagues I was going to do was that. They brought it. And they just found out that there was a splinter of bone somewhere. They have never seen it before because we had a series of x-rays. They never saw their bone. And the bone just breached the gap. And there was callus for my 2 head. They never saw it on x-ray. They never saw it. They just saw it there. And I think nobody put it there but God. If you don't believe it, don't believe it. I believe it. I strongly believe it. And the gap was still there, but that splinter of bone formed the callus that united the bone. So they said I should wait. So I had to be out of school for 3 months from ordinary juvenile fracture, spiral fracture. Not complicated, nothing. So I didn't go to school until the 3rd term. Even though I did the exam and passed, my father said that school wasn't good and changed me to another school. That's for another story for future. But I will tell you, these are the works of God. It's not anybody's work. And that's why I'm giving the testimony today. That this thing happened to me, and I'm sure of it. My photographs at that time was still in my case note on gallows spring. Now, I haven't finished my secondary school. I went to government college. We played. I met some of my friends. They are there, GCI boys. Up orange. Up orange. They are there. We were very playful and things like that. And we all passed the exams. I went to the Federal School of Science. I finished. Got to UI. And finished in UI. It was my postgraduate. That's what I told you first. But I will tell you one important thing in my life. 1966 coup. 1915, we suffered because my dad was a minister. He was an NNDP man. And that's why I said we had the same thing with Ojengbede. Because his dad was also an NNDP. His daddy's house was burnt. My dad's house was burnt. Everything was burnt down. We had nothing. My sister left with ordinary nightgown and a pant. I was the only one that was well dressed with short and shirt. All my brothers were in panties. When we were at home, Tayo, my junior brother in London, was in diapers. So, my mom was taking her bath, so she had nothing on. That's why we left the house. And when we ran out of the house, people were looking for us all around the whole place. And I said, so when we were, it was 5 days to my resumption in school, because we were supposed to resume on the 20th of January. And I thought, so by Wednesday, I was asleep. I woke up 3 a.m. crying and praying. Praying and crying that my mates must never leave me. I didn't want to stop going to school. I cried and prayed. After I finished my prayer, I had a peace of mind and I slept. The following morning at 8 o'clock, a policeman came to us. We were afraid. We thought it was from somewhere else. They said my daddy wanted to see us. Because we never saw our daddy throughout the time, the crisis. He said my daddy wanted to see us. That was on Wednesday afternoon. When I got there, the first thing my daddy told me was that you are going to secondary school. You will not miss you are going to GCI. So on that Friday, 28th of January, I resumed with my mates. They are. GD, let me get up. Where is GD? He's gone. Okay. They are all my mates. They are there. That's how I resumed. So I'm grateful to God. Anything could have happened. I could have been a cleaner or a messenger or anything. But God gave it to us. And all the 6 of us are today graduates from the university. We are professionals. So I need to thank God for all he has done for us. I thank my teachers for teaching me, for nurturing me, for abusing me, for troubling me, for giving me headache and things like that. But today I am what I am today, a professor of obstetrics and gynecology. And nobody can say that I do not merit being a professor. Because before you can become a professor at the University of Ibadan, you need to satisfy an external assessor who is non-indigene. So, having done that, I thank you all, sir. I thank you very much. I thank God for his mercies. And all my friends that are here, I thank you. YMCA, I saw they are there. Thank you so much. Methodist Church, Jide Olumeko, I have seen you all. I've seen everybody. Thank you. The Ibadan Dining Club, they are here. T Exclusive, they are here. Club 66, they are here. I'm a social person. I don't deny it. I enjoy myself. I dance. I do everything. But at the same time, all work without play makes Jack a dull boy. I play hard and I work hard. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. So we've come to the end. I will just take the vote of thanks now. I'd like to call on Dr. Ogunbode, Dr. Inka Ogunbode, to give us a vote of thanks. Then we'll take some pictures.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before I say a few words, they will project some of the pictures of Professor Arowojolu. When he was talking, he talked about his being in the cadets. You see the picture. Now from his speech, he has actually given the vote of thanks. But one of the things that I discovered from his speech, I now recollect an experience that happened with us, and I know he must be a special person. One thing that I know we residents will say about Professor Arowojolu is that if you are in trouble in theater and you call him, no matter at what time of the day, he will come. There was a time I was operating as a senior registrar then, and I needed him, and he came a few minutes later than I expected. And I said, Oga, what happened? Oga said, I saw Anjonu on the way. So I was a Yoruba person. I said, what is an Anjonu? He said when he got to BCOS side, he saw an Anjonu. He said something is mysterious organs without end. So you are the snake catcher, the resident rescuer. He's getting to a preach. He's a pastor now, because when people are getting older, they move closer to God. So while the picture is going on, I'll just say thank you to our chairman of today, Professor Adelusi. There are so many people that we have heard of in the department, but we are meeting them today. We also thank Professor Akonde, Emeritus Professor, the Celebrant, our guest speaker. We also thank the Vice Chancellor of the Ondo State University of Medical Sciences, Ondo. Apologies, sir. The College of Medicine, University of Ibadan, team, the UCH principal officers, the principal officers of the faculties of O&G of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, our senior colleagues and senior obstetricians, and our former ministers former vice chancellors, former provosts, then our former head of departments. We also give thanks to people from other professions. I think there was somebody from the armed forces here with us. We have people from the Methodist Church, alumni of Government College, University of Ibadan. We have some retired nurses, retired midwives, my colleagues, mentees, and friends. It is actually, I don't want to call it it's a mixed feeling, because in the next 1 year, we are going to do this kind of send forth to many of our great teachers. And one thing I tell people is, you can learn from every one of them. Each one of them has a unique way of operating. Then you will now develop your own style. And that is what I've learned from many of these our senior colleagues. So ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, the team from BCC, we appreciate you. Our audience watching it online is being watched on YouTube, is being watched on Zoom. And the recordings will be there for you to access at any time after this program. We thank you all. The next thing we'll need to do, if I've missed you out, please apologies, and I hope I'm forgiven. We will close this, I know. We will close this meeting by saying the second stanza of national anthem. But before we do that one, the celebrant wants to say one extra thing. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Staff Club, UI.
I thought vote of thanks was for me to make as the second stanza. I didn't know that I was supposed to make with my last speech. So I want to use this opportunity, apart from thanking my God and your God too, I want to thank everybody that is here today, starting from Professor Ogunbode, the eldest amongst us here, to Professor Akonde, the first provost of the College of Medicine, to Professor Ladipo, Professor Otolori, Mama Ogunbode, Professor Ojengbede, and Professor Mrs. Oshinusi. I also want to thank my professor, Professor Abiose, oh boy GCI. I want to thank you, sir. I want to thank you for being here. Some of you I know are here that I might not recognize. I want to thank people, my colleagues, Foley, Adewale, Yinka Omimbodu, everybody. It is your duty to be here anyway, so I shouldn't thank you for being here. You are a member of the department and you are celebrating me. Now, I need to thank UniMed. UniMed, when I became the provost, I was a bit jittery. Because when I became the pro-chancellor, I was a bit jittery. Not because of the people I would meet there. I just thought, I'm in the university system. How can you make me a pro-chancellor of a university when I'm already in the system? So when the governor called me, that wanted to be a pro-chancellor, I told him, I will not be able to take it because I'm not yet retired. He said, Ayo, it is you I want to be there because I think you and the VC can work together and make the place a success. And I thank him for giving me that opportunity to work with the VC. We might argue here and there, but we have a way of settling things amicably. He's a fine gentleman. I knew him a long time ago. So I don't have squabbles. I'm not worried about that. So I also want to thank National Postgraduate Medical College representative here. Oluwole, I call him my boy. I like him. He's hardworking. He's diligent. He does everything. Umeora, the secretary. Peter, the lecturer, I thank you very much. I also thank YMCA members. I can see Anima Shaun. I thank you people for everything you've done in my life, how you have brought Christianity into my life. You brought it into my life. I won't say I was a vagabond. I was rascally, but you brought Christianity. Now that I'm getting tired, I think I will imbibe Christianity better than I did. Now, people from Adeoyo, my mentees generally, Adeoyo, I thought I was just helping Adeoyo because it's the first institution, first university in Nigeria. And I thought I was just doing my best to make it a training center. I didn't know that they recognized what I did. Now, I can proudly say that we have trained about 6 people to have fellowship in National Postgraduate College. And the place is still going higher. I thank you for coming. I thank you, my Diners Club group from Ibadan Dining Club. I thank you very, very much. I thank the exclusive members that are here. And I thank you very much. People from all walks and corners are here. People who have associated with, socially or otherwise. I thank you very, very much. Finally, I thank my Oga here, my employer, Professor Adelusi, who gave me the opportunity to be here and be a gynecologist today. When I went to him that I wanted him to be the chairman of the occasion, he told me that he has lost touch with us. And I said, yes, but I want to drag you out of your cocoon that should be coming out to UI, to the department, because you've done a lot of work in the department. You created units, you created so many things in the department, and I think you deserve to be chair of this occasion. I thank you very much. Finally, I would like to thank my children. Okpeyemi is here. Tinuke, the wife, and my grandchildren, Funlola and Tomiwa. I thank you. I thank my sister. All of them flew down from the US to be here today to celebrate with me. I stand for my cousins. My brother Tunde is a lawyer. He's there. You think Wole is a lawyer. You think he's my senior brother, but I still knock him on the head. I thank my sons, Folari, all things. Finally, I thank my running mate. My running mate, she's always running after me. And I keep telling her, when we were young, we looked like brothers and sisters. So I could misbehave. I said, oh, she's my sister, don't worry. So I could misbehave at that time. But I've stopped misbehaving since we got married. So now she's like a sister to me, real sister, because she's running after me. She's still 5 years behind me to become a retiree like myself. So she's always running after me, and I love her for it. She gave me good children, good home, a pleasant and a very good home. To the extent that medical students recognize our relationship. Had a magazine where they featured myself and my wife as the best couple. I thank you for it, my dear. I thank you. I'm not a white man, so I cannot come and kiss you there. But I can blow you a kiss. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody that is here. God loves you. God will replenish you with every good thing you want in life, and God will make life better for you. President Ojengbede, I'm sorry for all the crises I caused, all the things I did. But I must say this, I love you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. So we've come to the end of the program. We'll take a group photograph after that, but we end with the second stanza of the national anthem. Can we please stand up? Thank you very much. So we'll take some pictures. My own name is Chris Aimaku. Thank you so much.
The grass is greener on the other side. That's what I thought before I took the ride. I burned my bridges so I'd never look back. But if I had known the life I was searching for was looking me right in the eye, oh. If I had known the life I was searching for was already my own. The grass is greener where you water the ground. That's what I found when I took the ride. I realized the mountain I've been climbing is nothing but sand, yo. I didn't know I already had the answers. No, I didn't know. The life I was searching for was looking me